scientist.
Suffice it that the blood of 1,000 men and women was spilled in these halls. Limbs twisted and broken, eyes gouged from bloody sockets, flesh burned black.
Please. You're with the dead. In death, there are no accidents, no coincidences, no mishaps, and no escapes. What you have to realize is that we're all just a mouse that a cat has by the tail.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
Warning, the following show contains conservative posturing, radical Christian ideas, and may offend pagans, Wiccans, Islamic fundamentalists, and other unenlightened individuals. Callers and guests may be subjected to brash and offensive comments by the hosts and any other type of bullying tactics available. But that's okay. We know why you're here.
This concludes this test of the emergency broadcast system.
Tonight is Monday, December 25th.
Hello and welcome to the special Christmas edition of World of the Unexplained.
Yes,
I'm Jay
indeed.
Scott.
I'm Trent Lackey.
I'm Chuck Browder here for your special.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's like you're...
you can kill the music. No one cares.
Actually, this should be Christmas music, Scott.
Well, anyway, the first topic of the day is we want to know why Chuck is called the Senator.
Yes. That was a bit of information that we were not aware of.
And here's how we came up with that, because people have been signing up for our newsletter, and we urge you to do that on this special Christmas treat. We urge you to sign up for our newsletter. It's free.
It's right there on the front of our
homepage. So worldoftheunexplained.com. Sign up for the newsletter. It's free.
Yes.
And
Anyway.
Trent's writing it. Okay.
However, you know...
So Chuck gets referred to us. Well, somebody signs up for us. How did you hear about us is one of the questions on there. There's like 3 short questions to fill out. And the answer was from, quote, the Senator. So I want to know, what is this Senator thing all about, Chuck?
Well, this is what they call me over at the technical school here in the Triad. I don't know. It probably has to do with I don't know, the amount of politicking and I don't know, political.
Yeah, Chuck does know more about politics than any man I know.
Yeah.
A lot of name dropping, I think, too, probably.
You ever shake
So
hands
you're a
and
political
kiss
snob?
babies?
I wouldn't say a political snob, but I try and educate myself on the different ins and outs. And,
Oh, wait, you're Edward's boy from Raleigh, right?
Yeah.
well, that's what they
Yeah.
thought when I was working for him, man. I when I went up to Virginia on the last weekend before the Tuesday primary election up in Virginia, they were pretty down, man, and I came up there and was telling a few jokes about George Bush and John Kerry and some of these other cats,
Some more name dropping, I'm sure.
yeah, there was quite a bit. I'm sure I mentioned Dick Morris.
You know
and,
them
yeah,
all, don't you, Chuck?
all of them, man.
You ever you kiss any babies at that time or shake hands?
I did some shaking of hands. I don't really recall ever kissing any babies.
Well,
Now, did you kiss any homosexuals?
2 or 3, man.
Okay.
No.
Do you have pictures?
While they're playing Endless Love in the dark
Endless love.
in the background somewhere.
Or soft cell.
There you.
And a smoky...
Oh man.
Anyway, but apparently that's a nickname. It's a very cool nickname, but somehow it reminds me of a mixed drink. Or the name of a rock band. Or if I were a rock star, I would have like that as a title of something. I'm the Senator. Scott's like the apothecary.
Well, Chuck. Chuck did work for Senator John Edwards the first time he ran for president.
Yeah, that is true.
And now we hear that John Edwards is running for president again. I've got a picture of me shaking his hand at a book signing. I'm going to put that up on the website here next couple weeks, because I'll support, even though he's a liberal, I'll support John Edwards. I think he's a good Christian guy, and I like him.
Well, I mean, I admire the fact, in a way, of how he just sort of pulled himself up by the bootstraps. I do
too.
That was very, very impressive. No matter how you cut it, and no matter what you feel about him now,
I'll support him until he says something stupid.
Oh,
How's that?
Well, okay, fair enough.
Because this is a conservative show. It's conservative paranormal talk.
Well, we should
we'll
be
talk
talking
more
about
about that
Christmas,
later.
Scott.
Well, we are going to talk about Christmas, and we give you a Merry Christmas because we don't care what the politically correct.
Yeah, you
think.
know what? That's just ridiculous. You know, it really is. I mean, trying to not to offend somebody so they can draw more sales. You know, how bloody capitalist can you be?
Wait a minute. I've got a good story.
Okay, let's hear
Did
it.
you hear that pop?
Yeah.
What was that? Oh well, probably me electrocuting myself. I've got a good story. We're
We're
using the old mics tonight.
You're completing a circuit with the slightly waterlogged, chewed-in frayed cords. Mics.
Well, I've got a good story,
Anyway,
and
go
this
ahead.
is you guys are going to be, oh my god! All right, I was sick, right after the Twin Lakes thing when I was feverishly going off about all things conservative.
Yeah. I heard that, Scott. Yeah.
Well, anyway, then I was in bed for like 4 days after that, man. I was like feverish, man, bronchitis, real bad.
Yeah.
And so I took some antibiotics and I got better. I probably shouldn't smoke as much. All the people that hate me out there are going, die, Jay Scott, die, lung cancer. Yeah. No. Anyway, so I'm in the post office, like probably, I don't know, the first day of my recovery. I'm in the post office, and there's a lady in front of me with 2 small children that come up to about her waist, and she's writing a check from, one of those big books that businesses have their checks in. A lot of times you see
Right,
entrepreneurs have them.
Right.
Well, anyway, it was from a chiropractic agency.
Okay.
They're not real doctors, but we won't get into that.
Yeah.
So anyway, she's writing a check. I'm going to piss off all the chiropractors that listen to our show.
That chiropractor.
The one guy in
paranormal
like Alaska.
faction. What? Knocking chiropractors.
I'm never listening
I'll
to
see
you
you.
again. I'll sue you. Yeah, there's a good one. But bring it on.
Well, it's always good to get bad publicity. Just
Yeah.
as good as the good kind.
All publicity is good
Yeah.
publicity. Well, anyway, so she's writing a check to the post office, and she orders like 600 stamps, right?
Uh-huh.
That's a lot, but, you have to respect that.
If she's
If you got a good business, you got a lot of people coming in.
You got a lot of mail.
And so they're sending out holiday Christmas cards.
Uh-huh.
Well, anyway, I guess I should call them holiday cards. They're not really Christmas cards. That wouldn't be that might offend someone.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so, and that's the whole notion of this, because she's standing there and they said, well, I think the post office lady says, I think that we might be out of the snowflake stamps. She said, and all we have left is like the nativity scene stamps, creche stamps. I don't know what they were, but they were some kind of thing, or they might have
With
said
a religious theme.
Yeah, they
or
had a
whatnot.
religious theme, or they said Merry Christmas or something to that effect. Well, she said, oh, no, wait, we just got him in. One of the guys from the back came out. This is in the Louisville, North Carolina post office. So I'm telling you, so maybe they'll get some email over it. It's funny. It's the Louisville, North Carolina post office. So the guy comes out from the back, and he says, well, yeah, we've got some more in. And so she's like, oh, okay, well. And then the post office lady, she says, well, what stamps do you want? Do you want the snow? We do have the snowflake ones. Do you want the snowflake ones, or do you want the religious ones, or the Merry Christmas ones, whatever? And the lady says, she looks at her and says, I'll take the snowflake ones. I don't want to offend anyone. And dude, I almost, you know how I am.
Yeah.
I tend to speak my mind.
Why didn't you? Did you?
Well, I was just
Come
getting.
on.
This is the first day of my recovery from my sickness, but here's the thoughts that were going through my head. I wanted to stop the lady and say, lady, first of all, God forbid you offend anyone in the Bible Belt of the South, by wishing them a Merry Christmas. Number 2, what kind of moral values are you teaching these children? I can't believe that you would bring these 2 small children in and teach them, where are they getting their moral teachings from? I wanted to ask her,
No, that's
what
wrong.
kind of morals are you teaching these children by wishing people happy holidays? Then I was going to go to the next level and say, would it be better if we said Happy Ramadan, from the religion of peace?
Or my favorite that's on that cell phone commercial or whatever, the Happy Christmas Hansa Quantica.
Yeah, what is Kwanzaa? Kwanzaa is a made-up holiday, and this is great that you teach your daughter these things.
Oh, whoa.
I'm happy. I asked Haley.
No. Okay, I'm going to back up a little bit. Kwanzaa, theoretically, it is a real festival.
It's a made-up holiday
that they celebrate in West Africa, but it's
a made-up
culturally
holiday.
Specific to that region. You know what I'm saying? It's basically a blend of tribal.
It's a made-up
beliefs.
holiday.
Well,
It's similar, actually, to like Orthodox Russian or something.
Yeah. I mean, it is. But I'm just
Well,
saying.
look, they've stole the Hanukkah candles from the Jews.
Right. My whole point. Well, no, because that's related to Ethiopians with the strong tie with Ethiopian
I'm surprised
Judaism.
they haven't stole the creche
The
scene.
Afar Jews, yeah.
You know.
I'm surprised
So
they
I mean,
haven't
that's
stole.
where the Hanukkah thing comes from is ties in that. But my point is, it is sort of like a collectivized holiday. You know, we're blending in various traditions from all over a continent.
Yeah, we're making it up.
Yeah, well, I would almost say we're mixing it and editing it.
Well, you told me off the air that they made it up.
Oh, well, I mean, it is. That's
Calling you out, man.
Didn't I just say that?
Yeah, you did. You admitted
I'm
to it.
I mean,
sorry.
okay. I mean, I did.
We're-
All I'm saying
said
is,
it was off.
I'm just saying it's not culturally specific to where we are now. You know what I'm saying? It's sort of like you and I are for a Scottish ancestry, right?
Yeah.
Chuck.
Well, Scotch Irish. He's
something- obviously
Irish somewhere in there. Somebody slipped and
Shucky
fell. Regardless.
McBrowder.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah.
Anyway, but my point is that we are going to create a festival holiday that is based on ancient Druidic practices and Celtic knots and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But my point is, I mean, are we really connected?
Well, there is something wrong with it. It's non-Christian.
Yeah, but are we really connected to that, though? You know, we're separated by like several hundred years from those cultural roots. You know what I mean?
Well, people would argue you're separated by several hundred years from the Christian roots. I don't know.
Well, that's true. But
But
I mean, Christianity has like a set tenet.
Yeah,
a
and
dogma
not
of faith.
only that, but Christianity is the traditional religion of the United States.
It is.
And you know, I mean, that's one of the things.
I mean,
it's
that
like
is a.
if you get offended because I say Merry Christmas to you, well, I've got some other words for you too. You know, and they don't start with Mary. They might end with you, but they don't start with Mary.
You know what really gets me is how atheists can celebrate Christmas. You know, that is just completely off.
Well, they go with Santa Claus. You know,
Yeah,
Pastor
no, I
Harry,
mean,
he burns effigies of 3-foot-tall effigies of Santa Claus. He burns.
Well,
them.
that's what I was about to ask you: is how extreme do you want to take this thing? To?
Well, he
'Cause,
wanted to send us one.
I mean,
I told him no, that was all right.
Would he send it to us already on fire?
No, but he did want. He did want to send us one in the mail, and he charges like $50 for these.
for you to
things.
burn these things.
Yeah.
Well,
so you buy
no,
them, you
no,
burn
no,
it.
they're
Talk
gonna-
about burning your money, brother. There you go.
If they're gonna do that, they're gonna have a guy there to burn it for us. You know, that says,
Exactly.
Like, Merry Christmas from Pastor Harry. Wah!
It's kind of like these guys at
Anyway.
Walmart and all these places where they've got self-checkout stores.
Oh, you mean
I'm not checking out my own stuff unless you give me a discount. That's why you hire
Exactly.
employees.
I love that stuff, man. I don't have to wait in the line as long, man.
Yeah, but you're paying them for the pleasure of bagging and ringing your own
Look,
merchandise.
Walmart would be better run if it were run by robots anyway, because they don't enjoy humans in there except the shoppers when they suck your money away as well as your
Well,
soul
exactly.
and your cultural identity. You know, those
Trent, they're not anti-union. They're pro-association.
they're bloodthirsty capitalists and they're ruthlessly trying to destroy every other market in the
And
entire
I guarantee
world.
you, mark my words right now on this show, in 5 years,
Let me see that.
if not less, in 5 years' time.
No, the other thing.
What other thing? Lighter? There you go.
The pipe.
Not only
For the crack,
crack pipe. No.
smoking.
Not only in 5 years or less. I guarantee you guys, mark my words, Walmart will be open on Christmas Day. Why? Because they're a godless corporation, hell bent on buying stuff from the
Exactly.
Chinese.
I mean, you know, I am totally all about that. You know, and
well, they're open on Thanksgiving Day now. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of time, and they're going to be open on
they,
Christmas.
Well, before they keep on pushing those, profit margins.
Oh, yeah,
further,
that's
further,
all they
further.
care about.
I don't know actually, because on several occasions they've chosen not to sell certain items. One of which is Playboy and Maxim magazines. They also get their
their music.
CDs from another distributor as well. That's all edited by the studio.
And you know why that
Yeah,
was?
I bought it.
That's pushing the market. The same thing Kroger did back in the
Yeah.
90s with you remember how they put those black things over Cosmo magazine
Yeah.
and some of those things?
Yeah.
That was started in I believe it was Kroger, a lawsuit over that. Kroger said, we're not going to carry your magazines anymore unless you do something about this. And that's why that started, because it's pressured consumer. The consumer wasn't pressuring it, the store was.
Yeah.
This is the same thing's happening with Walmart. They can now justify making their own rules because they own so much. They buy so much. And I think that's wrong.
Oh, I totally agree. I think
That's capitalism gone astray.
yeah. I'm fairly certain that there have to be some traditions honored and respected.
Well,
you
anyway,
know,
let's-
and it goes beyond the dollar.
Let's talk about what this show's about, which
Yes.
is a year in review and a where we've been and where we're going kind of thing.
Otherwise, a cheesy clip show.
No, yeah, well, we're not going to play any cheesy clips though. We're just going to talk about them. So if you haven't heard them, you're going to have to listen to them yourself.
Right. We're not going to go, remember that crazy time
And then
with
play
the
the
prophet
clip.
and then the
Yahweh?
star wipe and the music, the doodle 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 doodle.
I love that David Ferret one.
Yeah, you know, the
None
main
of us
reason,
are wearing cheesy red snowman, snowflake sweater vests.
and the
by
main
way.
reason we're not going to do that's I'm just too lazy to
Just
actually sit there and go
pull
through all
the
these clips. Yeah,
I agree. Well, let's you want to just start from the beginning, or do you
let's
want to start when Chuck showed up?
We'll start from the very beginning.
I think we should start from the very beginning.
The very beginning, and by that I mean 2002.
Right, a long time ago,
Before Trent, before Chuck, when it was only me.
when Scott was at Guilford College.
I was at Guilford College, 90.9 FM WQFS. So anyway, what happened was, you know, I had this brilliant idea of doing this show and, you know, doing it on the air. But, you know, the problem was they didn't have any way to hook up a phone line. They didn't have any
the
way.
problems, the
It was
trouble.
awful. So what I had to do is I had to call them. I didn't have any studio equipment. I would call these people on the telephone, and I hooked up on those $20 Radio Shack recorders to it, and I taped the whole conversation. So all the sound sounded like crap.
Yep.
And
At least-
you can tell that by
and yet
downloading.
Scott prevailed despite the obstacles.
I did, and so we ran one semester. I'm the only, and you can check this out. I'm the only student in Guilford history to create that program for college credit. On my transcript, on my Guilford College transcript, it says J. Scott's World of the Unexplained.
A precedent unheard of before.
Oh my
or
God!
after.
All right, stop.
Yeah, that's true. It was fun for a while.
Hypostases of the hypostasis of the
hypostasis
of the archons. Yeah,
archons.
we
You
just
can
did
add
the
some delay effects,
yeah we
you
just
know.
did the show with Dr. Daryl Bach earlier tonight. So so now we're sitting around here because we ain't working on Christmas, and we don't think you should either.
That's right.
Unless you work at Taco Bell and we're hungry. No, I'm kidding. I know.
You wouldn't want to eat that anyway. It's full of E. coli bacteria.
That's right. Yeah,
It's the scallions.
Hold the E.
that pull
coli.
or Ebola, which is like
Yeah,
a combination of
either
Ebola
way.
and E. coli.
Well, anyway.
Anyway, go ahead.
Our year in review, and so it started there. I had Lorraine Warren on, and you know what? We
And
never
you
had
You
her
had to
back.
process that stuff in Yadkinville, right?
Yeah.
You know, you
With
had to go
Patrick Bailey.
all the way up there, which is about 45 minutes away from here. By the
From
way.
here now, and what
Up
I
in
did,
up in the hills.
and you know how I'm not going to mention any names. You know how that person was that was helping me with that though. So me and him would do this all night. And we'd wait till the last minute. There were nights where I was driving 85 and 90 miles an hour because I'd have to get from Yadkinville to Greensboro in like 45 minutes, and I made it. And we're talking about a good bit of traffic there. I mean, or not traffic, but a good bit of traveling because there was no traffic except for me, the cops, and the drunks. That was it.
Yeah.
So
And
obviously, I don't want to run into
get
either
that-
one of them at 90 miles an hour.
So I mean, the point is that it was very difficult to compile, edit, and create the show, and then manage to put it on the air that night.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, you're working on a very, very hurried timetable.
And this is before the days that we recorded on the computer. I think
Right.
toward the last part of it, we were recording direct to the computer, and that the one that sounds actually the best, and that we record directly to the computer was the Professor Michael Cuneo.
Yeah, that was a good interview.
Now let's go through them. Lorraine Warren, that's we need to have her back. I should call her.
It's
She's getting pretty old now. She's in her 80s.
She's
now, I
had
believe.
a lot of troubles too.
She has,
you know.
and Ed Warren, her
So-
husband, passed away this year.
So I mean, she may be up for
And
something like that.
you know what? I
But that
love
was a good
I
interview.
love Lorraine to death, and we did 2 of those with her, and I love Lorraine to death.
She's
and
a great lady.
we need to bring her back on. Mark Hazelwood, Planet X. We had him on. Me and you did.
Actually, that was the first show with
With a
both of
guest,
us.
with a real guest.
Yeah, with both of us. No, wait a minute.
Yeah. No, that was the first show with a real guest that we
Yeah.
had. Well, no.
No,
Well, we had
Laura.
Laura. We had
Yeah.
Laura on. Laura
The
was
very
cool.
first show.
The very first show. But other than she
So-
didn't stay on the whole time, I don't think. either.
No, but
And we have Marcus
Still like
Allen. We've had him back. Molly Stewart. She's
Oh,
coming
yeah.
back. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Professor Michael Cuneo. That was the exorcism
Yeah.
one. If you guys hadn't heard that, that's a great interview.
yeah, that's probably one of the better ones. That
Daniel
that almost makes
Cohen.
me believe it.
Oh yeah. Daniel Cohen. We need to have him back on too.
Yeah, we love.
You know, Josh P. Warren had him on his show.
Really?
And he doesn't have archives up, but yeah, he had him on his show.
Uh-huh.
And we need to get him back on.
I agree.
'Cause he contacted me saying, "How do I get a hold of Daniel Cohen?" I was like, "Hang on, let me look." So,
But there was an interesting story with that because you were looking for Daniel Cohen in a certain part of where does he live?
it was well, I don't want to give away any of these details.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but,
How,
that's
but
right. Yeah,
There's put it this
his
way.
exact.
There's a
address.
town. There's a town
Smart one,
called.
Trent.
Well, there's a town called something something. We'll just use. We'll replace the word with Brook.
Yeah,
Something something. Let's make something up. Dr. Pepper Brook.
Dr.
All right?
Pepper Brook.
And he lived in the town called Dr. Pepper Brook, but the town I was looking for was like Dr. Pepper.
Yeah,
And so I didn't realize, though, that there was a Dr. Pepper and a Dr. Pepper Brook, and they were very close to each other. And there was a guy by the same name living in the Dr.
Named
Pepper
Daniel
town
Cohen.
named Daniel Cohen that wasn't the Daniel Cohen that lived in Dr. Pepper Brook. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll just pause for a minute to let everybody sort of figure that one out. Hold on.
Now, actually, I
You
can.
didn't pause.
I can say the name of the place because I can say the name of the place because
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
printed on his books. It's his. He's from Cape May.
Yeah.
It's where it says May. I think Maine or somewhere. But anyway, Cape May. So I'm looking for Cape May. I think it's Cape May. Anyway, something like that. And then it turned out to be it was like Cape May. We're going to use the word brook. We're not going to.
Yeah.
But
Not the whole thing.
It wasn't brook, but it's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, but it was two different towns and they were very close to each other. And it was just really it was hard.
It was.
But
Just
I
the
found
difficulties of finding these people.
And what was so
calling them
funny,
on the phone.
yeah, because I didn't back then. I mean, we
Yeah.
had internet, but it was nothing like it was today. Think back to 2001.
Yeah.
The internet was still kind of in its infancy. Not really, but I mean,
Yeah, there were some set standards
but
already.
not
but-
everybody had a web page. Put it that
Right.
way. Now everybody's got one, and a lot of people you contact, you can find them on the web and stuff like that. Well, in this case, though, I'm just calling people. I'm looking them up online. I'm using the phone books from different cities and states, and I'm looking them up and going, "Hey, are you the Daniel Cohen that wrote X, Y, and
Yeah.
Z?"
It's
And be
like, yeah, I am.
And like, oh, okay, well, my name is Jay
Yeah.
Scott, and I'm doing a show at college, and and that's the way I got him.
Incidentally, Scott got this idea of just randomly calling people from one night in the van when he
No,
had
I didn't have this. No, I got this. I talked to.
Yeah,
I've been listening to the Luch and Tilly show.
He called Dublin, Ireland to call Bono one time.
I
He
did.
tried to get Bono, Paul Hewson. Is
I used his
Bono's
real name, Paul Hewson,
And
yeah.
as like,
They didn't have him.
I think his name is technically Bono now.
Oh,
But anyway,
I
my
should have
point
asked
is,
for Bono.
Scott's just calling these
Sure he's
people.
not listening.
Right.
So I'm talking to the international operator in Dublin, Ireland,
Right, and Seoul, Korea to
at
find.
like 4 a.m.
to
$1
find
billion
here.
a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I don't remember.
But anyway, Scott did this for a while. It was just insane. He called Seoul, Korea to find one of her old roommates.
Moon Young Lee.
Yeah,
I
but-
can say his name because I call him. I'm like, well,
There are thousands and
they're
thousands
like,
of Moon
yeah,
Young
they're like,
Lees in
there's like
Seoul, Korea.
4,000 Moon Young Lees in Seoul, Korea. I'm like, you've got to be kidding
Yeah,
me.
there's
not a
only like
popular
there's
name.
No, but there's only like 4 or 5 surnames in the whole Korean
Oh.
peninsula.
That could have been part of it.
Lee, Kim, Il, something like that. I mean, there's only like 4 or 5. It's really crazy in Korea. But anyway, my point is that I think this guy kind of got this idea. It's a
may have been.
flashback from something he did.
Put it this way: the Luch and Tilly show.
And the hilarity
The
ensued.
Luch and Tilly show inspired me to do this in college, especially
Yeah.
after I talked to Lou on the phone after I'd started doing it. And he actually spent time with me on the phone one night after his show, and we talked for a while.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. And I hadn't heard from Lou since. But, Lou and John are good friends.
That's strange. Well, maybe we should talk to him.
I should call. He won't remember me, probably.
Probably not.
I don't know.
I mean, he gets a lot of people. Anyway.
Well, anyway. So
back to this.
Back to this, though. Well, the very first show I had the idea in law school. I'd listened to Ghostly Talk, and it was a good show. And I was like, you know what? It reminds me of the show.
We better tell the story of how this whole thing came together. WOTU, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I was listening to
Okay.
Ghostly Talk. And the reason I was listening to Ghostly Talk is I tried to go to Lou's site.
Mm-hmm.
And Lou Gentili was no longer offering his archives for free
He
anymore.
was charging.
Yeah.
Kind
Just
of
like
ticked
all
us
those,
off a little bit.
just like all those other jerks now that charge. No offense, Lou. But the charge, for like $50 a year to be a member to download. He still has like the last 5 available for free and stuff like that. And I was just like, I wanted to find some with Bishop Manchester. That's what I really wanted to hear. And he had him up before, and I couldn't get him now. And obviously I was pissed. So anyway, what happened was I started looking around for paranormal shows, and I stumbled upon Ghostly Talk, and I downloaded a bunch of that, and I took it and I burned it on CD, and I took it with me in the car because I was tired of paying $40 and $50 for these audio books on CD. And you're making a 7.5 hour drive up, and then a 7.5 hour drive back from Jacksonville, Florida, up
That's
here.
a lot.
It's a good trip, and that's a lot of miles, 500 miles from door to door. So that's a good trip, and and I made that trip frequently with the band and everything else, and it was getting old. So I had to have that, and I was listening to that, and I was like, you know what, this is a great idea. And I called, I think, your house, and your wife answered. Well, she wasn't your wife at the time, but she answered, and I said, I've got this idea, and I want Trent to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. I think you were at work, and I told her about it.
Yeah, it wasn't work.
And I was like, well, tell him to call me as soon as he gets in or whatever, and you did, and we talked about it, and I said, I want to do the show again, but I want to do it on the internet. I don't know how to do it, but we'll figure it out. And
That's
we
true.
did slowly. Slowly we did figure it out.
And I think I took about like 3 seconds to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's do it.
But you also...
And the legend was born.
Okay, you're out? Oh, you're just okay. I'll edit that part out. No, I probably won't. We were talking to a friend of ours that's down here hanging out tonight. Well, anyway, I won't edit it out. But the point is, so yeah, that happened. And Trent, the first thing Trent out of Trent's mouth was, it's just another one of those
crazy schemes,
crazy pipe dream ideas.
Like that time we're gonna build a boat and sail across the Pacific like Tori Hardolph and Kon-Tiki.
I still want to do that.
That's insane.
Now I'm gonna build.
We are going to die.
I'm gonna build
Scott.
a helicopter. I'm gonna. Have you seen these? You can
Look.
No, you can get these online. You can buy
flying.
You can buy the parts.
Oh, does it run off Dr. Pepper?
No, it's controlled.
Diet Pepsi,
No.
maybe?
Listen, hear me out. You know how the FCC
okay.
has Part 15 low power radio stations,
Right.
unregulated. Well, the FAA doesn't regulate some of these
ultralights.
ultralights, and you can build the ultralight or the small helicopter yourself. They're like, yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna
apparently
build
I'm
one.
going to be running the show by myself because you're going to kill yourself.
I knew you were gonna say you're not gonna come up with me, guys.
No.
I'll build a 2-seater.
No.
Sure wouldn't hold all three of our fat asses.
We're going about 15.
What do you mean maximum capacity
3
overkill?
miles an hour, and we're only hovering maybe about
It
6 inches off the
It wouldn't
ground.
get off the ground, man.
It'd get off the
It'd be
ground,
catastrophic failure. The blades would turn over. Shrapnel would be everywhere.
Kill us all,
And we get sued.
Our mutilated corpses would get sued
Yeah.
because that's a bad idea.
And all those
Scott.
stacks of money Chuck's been counting all the
All
time
these years.
would all go to our
Flown on a
heirs.
crappy helicopter.
Yeah, good one, Scott.
That we crash
Good
and burn
one.
and die in. Yeah.
Building a helicopter. Incidentally, as far as the Kon-Tiki thing, all those dudes were Norwegian. They had a genetic predisposition for seafaring, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not really. I
Oh,
don't know
anyway.
why I said
Okay.
that. Anyway.
Well, anyway, so obviously from hearing that, you know that I have some pretty crazy ideas from time to time. Yeah, I think they're normal, but apparently no one else does. But that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. Some of them are very cool, and I've been on board with more of them than maybe I should.
Then he should admit to, yeah.
You know.
Well, anyway, so we decided to do this, and we decided to do it the day after Christmas when I was at home for break because I had one more year left in law school.
Yep.
And so we came down here, and I bought all this equipment. This is when I actually made money. I bought all this equipment, just a bunch of equipment, and spent probably close to a couple grand on all the stuff we got. We got nice stuff.
We do.
And
All things considered.
so we got all our equipment together, and I think Laura Placeres was our first guest from Full Moon Radio. Mm-hmm. And at the time, we didn't have a telephone hybrid, so we were holding the telephone up from this, we had this, cheesy Radio Shack, $20, and we had it plugged in, and it was just bad, man. You weren't here, dude, it was bad.
Yeah,
You don't
it
laugh,
was
man.
pretty
It was bad, dude. It was, we were holding the phone up to the mic. It was bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's probably why that sounds, oh, no, they can't get that anymore, can they? I don't think, because I couldn't figure out how to record. It's like I would record it, and then it would end.
That was a number of our first
Shows that happen like that.
You know, for example, this North Carolina Legends and Lore, which I was pretty proud of because it's a subject near and dear to me. But we
only got the first 18 minutes of it.
Yeah, we should do that one again. Actually, I want to. We should probably have some guests. Some folklorists or something.
We could do that.
That's my particular thing that would be kind of cool. But anyway, yeah, we only got 18 minutes of it. It's just blah 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 talking,
Cut
and
off.
then.
But it should have recorded, and I think it was a RAM issue. I don't know. It doesn't matter now. We've got a lot better programs.
Yeah.
We've got all kinds of toys with bells and whistles now that we didn't have before.
Mark Hazelwood was the next one.
Yeah,
I'm
Mark
sorry,
Hazelwood was our first
Guest
book writing guest.
and it only lasted 19 minutes.
Again, it was a 2-hour interview. We only called 19 minutes. So did we have any callers? I think that's when we were hooking your cell phone into the board before we got
Yes.
the other hybrid.
Yes, that's right.
And we were giving out your cell phone number on the air.
Yeah, I don't have that cell phone anymore.
I was going to
by the
say,
way.
so if y'all call that, you're not going to get him because, he doesn't have that cell phone anymore.
We did have a call from North Carolina Legends of Lore, actually.
Did we?
Our
Who
friend
was it?
Eric had called
Oh,
about
that's
the
right,
Brown
that's right.
Mountain Lights.
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
Anyway, but
and back then we had 6 or 7 listeners. We had 5. I remember when we got 5 listeners, it was like, woohoo. And we knew all of them. And it was just crazy. We knew all of them. We had 5. And back then when we would put up a thing for a download, we'd have if we hit 20 downloads, it was something spectacularly amazing.
yeah, we were.
And now we get just hundreds and hundreds of downloads, which is cool.
yeah.
We get more downloads, than I ever thought we would.
Yeah.
But we get a lot of people on the live show too, which is nice.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I always enjoy that. And I don't know. Okay, well, let's just keep on going down, I guess, through the interviews. Marcus Allen part D.
We need to get him back.
Oh, yeah, he's a great guest.
Marcus Allen, I remember we called him. I don't know if I edited that out or not. I think I edited a lot of that out where we had called and We finally fixed the problem. Yeah, okay. So that whole interview is available, but we
Yeah.
called him.
That's actually our full.
A full interview,
total
2 hours.
interview.
The first full one we actually got everything on.
Yeah.
But we called him and we had to call like I think we ended up running over because he got on at like what was it like he was asleep and we
Yeah,
woke
because I mean, it was only like 2 a.m. in England at the time.
yeah, and then
You know.
and then time for a similar flub with Eileen Dietz. That was our first big guest, and that was for her role in The Exorcist. And we got her, and we were calling, and apparently I had told her that the interview was at 9 when it was actually at 8. And I thought that I told her 8, and we called and couldn't get a hold of her, so we just went on.
Oh man, I was like, you know, you were
Start
like,
talking about exorcisms, yeah. But
You were pretty upset.
I was
about
like,
something.
man, they're gonna, no one's gonna listen to us anymore. And I think that was was that the first night we started running with Omni Sound, or was it the next show? I can't remember. I think Jerry Smith.
I don't think it was that early. No, I mean,
Yeah,
it had only been going for like a
No,
month
man,
at
it
that
was
point.
it was either Eileen Dietz or
Or
Jerry
Jerry.
Smith, yeah, because
Yeah.
2 interviews later we had Clyde Lewis,
That's true. Yeah.
and we met Clyde through Omni Sound.
Right. Okay.
anyway.
Well, it might have been Eileen Dietz then.
No, and then I forgot. I don't have the whole Jerry Smith interview because I think there's only an hour there because I forgot to start recording.
I mean,
Now we have a program that automatically records every
Yeah.
time we go live, so that we don't
Our
have to
good
think
friend.
about it. Yeah, and it's great. But at the time, we'd have to start, and so I started like in the second half of the interview, second hour. That's up there. Well, then we got Jim Mars on JFK assassination, and you guys will know Jim. He did JFK. He's also done all kinds of different alien, stories, UFO stuff. He's
big into conspiracies in general.
and he's part of Josh Warren's Dark 30 tour.
Right, he is. And that was a really good interview. And JFK is one of your particular
That's one of my favorite pastimes. Yeah.
JFK conspiracy. Scott's really
I
big
love
into
him.
that,
And then we
down
had
in the basement with the weathered mattress and the tattered American flag and all these little pictures up on the wall about various things. Yeah, that's what Scott's actual bedroom looks like.
It
Just
is.
so
No, I'm
everybody
kidding.
knows.
Anyway. Well, then we had Clyde Lewis on, and Clyde told us who the Antichrist was.
Prince Edward.
Was it Prince William?
Prince
or
William. Why did I say
Prince
Edward?
William, yeah, is the
Was
Antichrist.
this before or after the swastika incident?
I don't remember.
Good question.
I don't remember.
Wow, we're really on the ball for this thing, aren't we?
Yeah.
We
Well,
have
this
all
was-
the notes and everything that we got.
This was around, what was March, maybe?
March of 05?
March
Last
of,
year?
no,
Or
March of this year.
This
yeah,
year?
March
Because
of
this is our
06.
year
Well, I
anniversary.
guess that's true, yeah.
So it had already happened, right?
Oh, yeah. It had happened over
Yeah.
here.
So
Anyway, so Clyde Lewis, we talked about Clyde.
Prince William
Yeah,
and
Prince
the
William is the Antichrist, yeah.
Number of,
According to Clyde.
involving Diana, which is the Roman name of the goddess of the hunt.
Yeah.
I'm
It
just-
got pretty crazy. He was
you
talking
know,
about the left eye of Christ or something, the evil eye in the Mel
Yeah.
Gibson film The Passion. Have you heard
right,
of
and it
this?
was
The evil eye.
Yeah.
the left being the unholy side or whatever.
And that was the one that was
And Christ
open, and the other one was
or-
shut, or something like that. I don't know. It got pretty
I thought
wild.
that one was shut.
I
The
don't
other one was
remember, but
open.
because I
was-
thought he was looking at you with the evil eye.
Oh right, it's really
I'm
highly,
not kidding.
highly symbolic, and Clyde really pulled a lot from symbolism, and it was really, 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 really deep,
Yeah.
and heavy.
Well,
you know?
then we had Dr. Sally Ryan Feather and Michael Schmicker. You remember that?
Oh yeah,
ESP.
they were good guests.
And we've been, Trent and I
they
had
were
visited
really-
the Ryan Research Center in
Oh,
Durham years
yeah.
ago when we were at the community college.
In case nobody heard the story before,
Yeah,
I'm
they
gonna
probably-
tell it again.
I'm sure they did. If they've listened to that interview, they've heard it.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm not gonna tell it.
Oh, what was it? What were you going to tell?
I can't tell it.
All right.
No, I will tell it.
Go ahead.
I just love that. I know.
Tell it.
When we went down there, okay, we talked to Dr. Richard Broughton, and to be perfectly honest with you, he's a really, really smart guy, but holy crap, we were just passing
Boring.
out. Yeah, he was like everybody's worst professor at any college anywhere.
I don't know. I think if we were older, we would have appreciated it, but we were like, 19, 20
I
at the
don't
time?
know, Scott. I mean, there was something in his delivery that just wasn't there.
It was pretty dull.
He was dry,
Little Ben Stein, is that the
Oh,
deal?
man.
Yeah.
Ben
very
Stein
much-
would be
very much a Ben Stein.
Ben Stein would be like entertaining compared to this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
I
we.
mean, he's a nice guy, though. I don't want to knock him. I mean, he is a
No,
nice guy. He's just
I
really,
don't want to knock him either. I mean,
really
he-
dry.
He's a very smart guy, and
Too smart.
in a way, the ability to transfer the knowledge from his head out to us to be absorbed into our little brains, would be difficult.
That's kind of what you felt like. You felt like you
Yeah.
had little brains, and he was
You're-
here with this
you're
massive intelligence.
standing amongst the sun or something. I don't know. But anyway.
Anyway,
hold on.
I was going to say, they did give us tests, and Trent has
A
ESP,
series of
and
tests.
I don't.
Well, apparently it was a telekinetic test where basically the computer control, and they're very scientific about these tests anyway. It's not just like making a little ball move across the table when the table's like leaning at some.
This was like a
point in time.
DOS-based thing too,
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah. It was.
These are old computers.
Right. But anyway, it essentially was like you would click on a button and you had a line and it would move up or down, and there would be like a median line in the middle, and it would move up if you were trying to think it to move up, and otherwise it would just sort of do whatever it did. But they're looking in consistent patterns, of it moving in a certain
And Trent was
direction.
psychic, and I sucked.
Right, and you would basically tell them, okay, I'm going to move it this direction. You don't tell anybody, but you kind of write it down confidentially prior to taking the test. I think that's how it worked.
I don't know.
Well, anyway, and that's basically it. And I said, I'm going to move it up, and sure enough, the line moved up. But I'd put that down before we even took the test, and Scott tried it and just like
I'm going to move it up.
I can't
It
do
moves
nothing.
down.
And, well, it just goes all over the place.
Yeah.
And I
Randomly.
don't really know if that really.
It doesn't matter.
I don't know if it's proof of anything.
Well, they had
we
another.
had the dream test too.
That's what I was going to talk about. They had another test where
Those
they
are
put these
great.
like little things that look like.
The Gonsfeld? Was that
Yeah,
the name
that
of
was
it?
the Gonsfeld test or experiment. But yeah, they
Yeah.
put these little things that look like tanning bed goggles,
ping
the
pong
little
balls.
ping pong balls, like halves of it over your eyes. And you lay there, and in one room, I was in there, I think, was I looking at a picture?
Yeah.
I was looking at a picture, and I was trying to telepathically communicate what this picture that I'm seeing was to Trent, who was sitting in another room with the little ping pong balls on his
Right,
eyes,
who's sitting there and that,
trying to draw it. Were you trying to draw it?
No, I was describing it.
Oh, you're trying to
Just
describe
like I just seeing a clown and a little puppy dog wearing a cowboy
And I think we
hat.
totally screwed that one.
No, we were
We were
really
way
good at it.
off.
But anyway, my point is, it was a really cool time down.
So he
there.
has ESP, but he's not telepathic, obviously.
No, I have telekinetic powers,
Ah.
but I'm not ESP. I'm a Magneto, not a Professor Charles Xavier, and that suits me just fine because Magneto's much cooler than the other one anyway.
Exactly.
But that was kind of cool. That was our first paranormal project. I mean, we were actually doing a report on parapsychology.
and then she didn't even watch the thing. I remember that.
know.
Now see now nowadays, man, I'd have been
yeah.
it'd been stupid. But yeah,
You-
she just gave us a B, and I asked her, how'd you like it, and she said, well, honestly, I didn't watch the tape that we made. That was our project. She just gave us a B.
That
Didn't
was
even watch
really
the tape.
arbitrary. Nice academic credentials there, but
Yeah,
it's-
and she was an accredited. I wonder if she's still there. I should tell her name on the air.
You should do it.
I'm not gonna do it.
No.
No.
All right. Okay.
But
Anyway,
yeah.
but
I should
Sally
look.
Ryan Feather is in head of. She's running that thing right now.
Yeah,
that's
and she wasn't there.
basically
Now
where
she's
it's-
actually Dr. Ryan's daughter. Yeah, daughter.
Yeah. So there's
J.B. Ryan's daughter.
There's personal connection to this institute, or
And she
whatever.
knew Richard Broughton,
So
the guy that we talked to.
he's back in Scotland now.
Yeah, he got his degree from the University of Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
Which
so-
apparently from our guest sitting in the background is telling us is a great place to visit.
yes, D. Clements is here with us tonight.
The D. Clements.
D. Clements.
But Glasgow apparently is only cool if you're into heavy metal bands or you're,
So anyway.
Marxist.
Well,
I don't know why I said that.
Then we had Oliver Williams on talking about
Oh,
the John
that was a
Teeter
great.
thing.
That was really cool.
And that was cool. We
And,
got a lot of
That
websites.
was
out of that.
strange too. I mean, this whole underground thing about John Teeter and Oliver Williams. I mean, I'd heard about him before, but I mean, really, it's odd.
It is.
how.
No,
how many people subscribe to this. I mean, this has got a lot. Of stuff.
We were with OmniSound through, I guess, like I said, from Jerry Smith back, and we were with OmniSound and growing bigger and bigger. And I guess I don't know. I've never really come clean and went public. We never have about what happened
Yeah.
between us and OmniSound.
I don't know if we should. I still think it. Just for a sense of propriety, Scott.
Yeah.
Maybe we should keep it a secret.
Well, we're not going to talk about the details then,
Yeah.
but let's just say that we had a misunderstanding with OmniSound that turned out to be something that we just decided to part ways on.
Yeah, and that's a good way of saying it.
Creative differences. We all know that's BS, but we'll say
artistic differences.
That's it. Yeah, right.
Perry Farrell and Dave Navarro just didn't like each other. That's all it was.
And it's nothing about not liking the people at OmniSound. We still like the people there. It was just there were things that were said that weren't exactly
okay
on the level.
on the level. Chuck. Yeah, well, we'll just leave it alone.
Anyway, but Oliver Williams, John Teeter.
Yeah.
That was a great interview.
It was. And then we had Dr. Osama Al-Sadawi.
Now, this is this is interesting because we got an email from this guy, after
one of our guests one of our listeners emailed
us. Yeah, after our second or third show, they emailed us suggesting this guy. And he had it was kind of cool. I thought because we were calling from Alexandria, Egypt
at like 4 a.m. their time.
I mean, it was really, really awesome. It's like, wow, we are like across the world.
And the government was listening in.
Yeah.
You call in Egypt, you're getting line tapped because George Bush says so. And he's above the law. Remember, that's what he said.
Just like Steven Seagal.
All those things he signs in the power.
Yeah, the executive orders.
Well, are all accompanied by a presidential signing statement. Go look that one up on Wikipedia.
Yeah, he's hiding the crown underneath the
it's what he's doing is unconstitutional, but we won't talk about that.
Anyway, but Al-Sadawi has some very neat concepts about Egyptology from his translations of the hieroglyphs.
I just found this interesting, though, because I asked him the question. I remember, well, if you're all into this and you're a Muslim, and he says, yeah, I am a Muslim, but we're not all terrorists. Yeah, right. No, so I know. No, and I told him, I know that. We have some Muslim friends. I do like to give Islam a hard time, though. But
honestly, we do have some.
We do have Muslim friends that are very religious people that believe the way Islam should be.
Yeah, very amazing people, actually.
Even though they're not Christians.
But that's okay.
I'm not going to get into that. But, they are good people, and, they would never do some of these things. But anyway, and he said, well, I'm a Muslim. And I was like, well, these new findings that you found, supposedly, that your government says are wrong, and, it goes against Islam. I was like, well, why are you still a Muslim then? I mean, if you discovered that your religion evolved because of this Egyptian thing, why are you still a Muslim?
Yeah.
And he couldn't really answer that.
Yeah. I bet him and Zahi Hawass, get into it a lot.
I don't know who Zahi Hawass is.
He's that gray-haired guy that you see on every National Geographic episode when they talk about the pyramids.
Okay.
He's like like the big name down there. I wonder if they get into it.
I'm sure they probably do. That probably tore it wide open. I mean, he was saying the government was giving him a hard time.
Right.
Okay.
Anyway, but next.
What show did you come on first, Chuck? It was after Zappos. Never mind. Well,
it was a couple.
We'll remember here in a minute.
couple down the line.
Well, you had Lauren Coleman on.
You're missing two.
I am. Oh, Jeff Wamsley?
Rosemary Island.
Rosemary Ellen Guiley. I'm sorry. Rosemary Ellen Guiley. She was fun.
Oh, yeah.
I really don't have any memorable moments from that, unfortunately. I hate to say that. She's definitely
she is
a staple of any paranormal research.
A vast cornucopia of paranormal knowledge.
Oh yeah, I mean all the encyclopedia books she's read.
Very impressive stuff, And
I think we talked about vampire. Actually, we talked about werewolves some, and she's the one that actually told us about what's her name, the lady that we had on with the werewolf thing.
Oh,
you were here for that, Chuck.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't. Her name is like right on the tip of my tongue. I know it is. Isn't that terrible?
I can see your face too.
I can see the book cover right now.
Anyway,
she wrote Beast of Bray Road.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe we'll remember it later on.
Gosh, what is her name?
Jeff Wamsley. We'll just move on to
okay.
Jeff Wamsley.
We'll get to her eventually.
Mothman.
Oh yeah, Mothman. That was fun. That was the night you got tricked out that night. You went home and you were having all kinds of issues.
Really, really.
And our phone lines did all kinds of crazy stuff that night too.
They actually called and nobody was on the line.
Yeah.
And that was weird. Not once, but many times.
Didn't we lose him twice or something?
Yeah,
that was crazy.
I mean, just all these weird technical things. Now that
and I was checking everything to make sure it was hooked up right.
Yeah.
Nothing was changed, man. Nothing was unplugged. It was just really weird.
It just decided to do weird stuff that night. I don't know. Maybe even
on its own.
Mentioning the Mothman.
Little Twin Lakes moment there.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
But, the Twin Lakes was actually much more, and we're going to get into all that. And I hate to. That's why we're trying to run through these. I hate to be this way, but I want to get up to speed with Chuck running the show with us.
Lauren Coleman.
Lauren Coleman.
Bigfoot. We're definitely going to get that guy back on. I think.
I'm really not a big fan of cryptids, but I know you are, and I know your father is, and your father listens every time we have a cryptid guy on, which is really cool. It's kind of cool to have the old man listening.
Yeah, he really appreciates this.
And he gets to call in and talk to these people that he's always studied and read, and that's cool, man. I like doing that for your dad, man. I think that's the coolest thing you could do for your dad.
I agree.
And your dad, I mean, you owe your dad a lot. We all owe our folks a lot, you know. And
this is one small way of me paying back.
As an adult, you can pay your dad back and say, hey, you get to talk to one of those people that you read, all your life and that you really look up to and respect. And that was really cool.
Yeah, I agree. But
and now your dad's immortalized in our interviews on the archives tape.
Strange.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, Lauren Coleman was kind of cool. Also, actually, my sisters were listening in there too.
Yeah.
It was weird. They're not into paranormal stuff at all. In fact, they're leaning more your way, Scott.
Oh my gosh! Listen to this.
As far as being,
they're leaning more my way.
Actually,
are you not a Bible believing Christian anymore?
Yes.
I take the sword out quick, man.
I see that. Wow. But anyway, but they enjoyed the show.
Do I have too much religion? Do I love God too much, Trent? Is that what it is?
You can't love God too much, Scott.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
I see that.
I know.
Anyway,
this is the Christmas episode. Thank you, D.
Yes.
Yeah, see, we got somebody not afraid to say Merry Christmas. Not that you are. I know you're not afraid to say it. I need an enemy. I need a caller.
Yeah.
But we're pre-recording.
Yeah, we can.
I can't pick on anybody.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not going to play devil's advocate.
John Zaffis was next, and John, as you know, went with us to Twin Lakes Lodge, and we're doing a conference with John that we want to tell you guys about.
John was the interview which we were filmed for the documentary Talking Tall.
Talking Tall, yeah. If you guys go to
that was that interview.
www.talkingtall.com. They even credit John in the credits that said guest on World of the Unexplained that night, John Zaffis.
Yep.
And we told John about that. He thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But,
John's a great guy. I mean, actually,
he's
after
awesome.
meeting him in the flesh, it's like, man,
yeah.
he's been there. You know what I mean?
It was so funny.
He's been down in that.
I've got a story. I'll tell it. I'll tell the story.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think John would mind me telling this.
Nah, I don't think so.
But it's so funny. I pick him up in the airport, and he's in an argument, I think, with one of his agents on the cell phone. But he's going back and forth talking about something. Somebody did something that pissed him off. I don't know what. But anyway, he's in an argument with somebody. And I'm like picking him up, and I'm like, oh, okay, hey, I've got a sign up that says John Zaffis, because I want to make sure that he saw me if I missed him.
Compared to the other guy who has
exactly.
signed John Zaffis, which we all know is a government spook. But anyway.
Well, anyway, so I pick him up, and he just kind of waves at me and totally ignores me. He follows me out to the truck because I'm driving the truck that day. And the reason I'm driving the truck is my car was so full of, fast food wrappers, cans, and trash that I didn't want him to see it.
Pig.
I didn't want him to see all that crap in my car. Like, yeah, John, just kick that stuff out of your way.
You didn't want to look like that fat kid from the Goonies.
Exactly.
Hey, John, you're my hero. I have half-eaten Hershey bar. Want it?
Yeah, exactly. Just pick it up off the floor. Well, anyway, it's so funny because he's arguing with this guy the whole time. It doesn't even really say two words to me. And so I'm thinking, oh, God, this is, and then I'm making him put his bag in the back of this open bed Chevy S10 truck,
It's awkward. Yeah.
And it's kind of awkward. Thankfully, the truck bed's clean. It's not like got water or leaves or anything in it. Well, anyway, so we're driving down the road. And he finally gets off the phone. I'm like, and we start talking. That was cool. I felt a lot better about it. And I'm like, yeah, sorry about the whole, truck thing not having a lot of room, and I don't have any air, and it's really unseasonably warm. So we got the windows rolled down. And then I look over, and I'm dying for a cigarette because the plane's late, and I've been waiting there for 30 minutes inside. I'm dying here to smoke a cigarette because I hadn't had one because my excitement level's up because I'm going to meet John Zaffis. Yeah. So anyway, I'm dying for a cigarette, man, and I'm really wanting one. I'm like, you know how people are nowadays. You can't smoke in front of anybody. They all bitch and whine. Yeah. Well, John, I see that he's got he's in his pocket. There's a pack of cigarettes, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, oh gosh, you smoke? And he's like, you smoke? And then we're both like, oh great, and then we both light up. It was so funny though, it's just the recognition because he wasn't smoking either because he thought it would offend me, and I'm thinking the same thing. Well, gosh, I don't want to smoke if this guy, because we're in his car together or his truck together in very limited space. But it was really funny. So then we both lit up and started laughing about it. But
a good time was had by all.
That's right.
The end. Well,
I'd walk a mile for a camel. But anyway, so that's what John Zaffis. We'll talk more about that later. But St. John Smith, the Ethan Dettenmeyer first interview.
Part 1.
That was crazy.
We had no idea what we were getting into. Scott.
No, we didn't.
I mean, seriously.
And when I booked this interview, and I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever told anybody this before outside of our group.
Yeah.
But when I first booked it and I heard about it, I did it for Eileen Dietz as a favor because I'd never heard of this guy, and I definitely never heard of film. I'm like, oh, it's his first film, and I'm thinking, oh, great. This is going to be the most boring show we do. This is going to stink, but I owe her a favor.
Right.
Yada, yada, yada. Eileen came on, we'll do it.
Right.
Do it, get it over with, sweep it under the rug, and move on. Wow, he comes on, and it is the most fun time I think we had on this show ever. I mean, the first time, because it just got so crazy and out of hand that we were just rolling in the floor laughing at it.
Oh, it was insane. Ethan is just one of those ridiculously charismatic guys, that you
and just such a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's real. I mean, he's not fake. He's not.
Yeah, I think maybe we're afraid there might be a little.
We're afraid it's gonna be boring.
Veneer of Hollywood.
Yeah, and it was kind of stuck up, and but he's not. He's totally just. I mean, awesome. I can't think anything better to say. And after we had him on, and I do remember that night we had Richard Tyson on from Kindergarten Cop. And
which is kind of cool, because we were actually talking to a legitimate movie star.
Yeah, and Richard Tyson was actually in another radio studio when we had it.
Yeah.
And what was funny is because the guy in the other radio studio was giving us crap.
Oh yeah, drop the hammer, Scott.
I am. I'm going to drop it. His name is like Magic Mike or something.
Magic Mike.
Something really stupid.
Let me just say something about Magic Mike.
We got something for you here, Magic Mike.
You know what's really magic? How you're not magical.
It's okay, man. He's a public figure. Defamation standards are higher.
Oh, okay.
New York Times v. Sullivan controls.
Oh, right.
But I can't pass the bar exam anyway.
Magic Mike. I mean, come on,
It was. I don't know if that was exactly it, but it was something like Magic Mike.
It just sounds like a radio show that would play Reading Rainbow.
But he was a jerk, man.
Something like that. Yeah, he was a total jerk. I mean, what a arrogant, whatever.
It's like saying, I'm on real radio and you guys aren't.
So you're nothing. And
that made me so mad. And now we're on real radio, so we got something for you, hole. No, anyway, I didn't say it. Yeah, exactly. But, yeah.
I just cursed a whole lot. I just didn't say
it. I know. But, that's basically what I got for him. I got something for Magic Mike.
But Richard Tyson, despite that, talking to Richard Tyson, and Richard was a really cool guy.
And more people know who we are than they know who you are, Magic Mike. I don't care where you're at.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's true.
So we're going to leave that alone, though. We're rising.
It seems kind of bad for
up
him.
To the challenge here. But we're going to leave it alone. But that was it was a great interview, and we had a lot of fun. And Ethan was cool, and Richard was cool.
Other than that,
and they keep coming back. So obviously we're doing something
right.
Ethan called me the Larry King.
Huh?
Ethan called me the Larry King of paranormal radio.
Wow,
that's cool.
So,
I don't know, man. Larry King's kind of on his way out.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
We're on the bus, and you're at the bus stop. Oh, man.
Alrighty. Wow. Chuck's always got these high-pitched screams. Go, way out! And all this stuff.
I don't really know what... No, I think I ripped that off the Daily Show, so I hope
that's okay.
But it's such a great thing to use.
Well, anyway, let's move on. But Ethan was great, and that's why we had him back on again. EVP, Tom, and Lisa Butler.
Now, some of those things that they were playing were just...
That was just some creepy, eerie
disturbing
stuff. Yeah, it was good,
though.
Yeah. It was a good interview.
It was unpleasant to listen to it.
It was. But, hey, White Noise, that was good. That was a good interview. Check that out if you guys hadn't. It was pretty wild. Arthur Nigel Suckling. Mom says, if you can't say anything good, don't say anything at all. If you guys can sit through this interview without falling asleep, I'd almost offer you money. And don't get me wrong, Nigel is a super cool guy.
He is. I just think we had a misunderstanding of the material that he was writing about.
He would talk, and this is one of the, when you interview people all the time like we do, you get to a spot where you're pretty good at it, you're pretty comfortable with it, but then you'll always get one guest every now and then where you'll ask a question.
Yes.
And they'll give you like that. They're like, I don't know. And they'll stop.
It's nice.
And then you're just like, can you elaborate a little more? It's what you want to say. You want to smack them over the head.
We had to really work for that one.
Oh gosh, that was tough.
I can't say. I mean, he's a really nice guy. It's like I said.
I don't think that's what he was really into.
No,
because when we got to the end of the show,
we started talking about fairies and
gnomes and trolls and
all that kind of.
And dude, then he
stuff.
opens up, man, and then you can't get the guy to shut up.
But we don't know anything.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not like anything.
We're totally in the dark,
We
and
don't really-
he's all on the other side at this point.
So, I mean,
where before it was the opposite.
You know, it's just like an awkward dance at your ninth grade dance, you know, and you dance with this girl
in a
and you
peach
think,
suit.
and a peach suit.
Don't bring up my peach suit.
You know,
anyway. It was stylish at the time.
You
man.
brought it up.
4 other guys were wearing it.
I know.
Anyway.
Well,
6th grade dance. Anyway,
but you know, you go to dance with this girl and you think it's going to work out, but she's not.
It ain't happening.
You know, the dance is just not working, and I think that's basically what that interview was all about. Doesn't mean the girl's not a bad dancer. It doesn't mean that you're a bad dancer. It's just
just ain't working.
You're just not dancing to the same tune.
And that's why Nigel Suckling hasn't been back.
Anyway,
but you know, we should have him back to talk about gnomes and fairies and things like that. Because it is interesting stuff.
Something that.
But I'm not going to have him on about vampire. And it's not that he doesn't know about it, because obviously he wrote 3 books about it. But it's just
his expertise is another field.
Yeah,
basically.
We'll just leave it at that. God, you know, he's going to hear this and be like,
I'm not
going back on your show. You guys are jerks.
Yeah.
You know, okay, well, so starting
So
anew.
our next interview was Michael Tsarian, Atlantis, Alien Visitation, and Genetic Manipulation.
That was fun.
Oh, yeah, it was. I mean, he was totally like...
An Irish guy that still believes in leprechauns. How cool is that?
No, he was Irish, but one
it was like half Irish and half something
Armenian,
else.
I want to say.
Yeah, something like that.
It's kind of crazy. Well, Tsarian is, it sounds like a very...
definitely not an Irish name,
Caucasus
I don't think.
region kind of a name, like Shevardnadze or Shivali or whatever. But he was a great interview too.
And we used
Very
him in
informative.
that new ad, Big on God, Big on. He's talking about the Mayan 2012.
Yeah.
See, I think if our guests knew that we were using them like that, they probably wouldn't be happy.
They may not.
Because we're not really making fun of them. We're not. We're just saying.
No, we're just pulling clips.
We're just pulling clips and being like, you know, because the format of the show's changed a bit.
I think so.
But that's okay. We'll talk about that.
But it
later.
doesn't matter.
It was a good interview, and we're on
yeah.
good terms with Mike Zarian, and we like him a lot. He's a great interview, and we're going to have him back on.
I hope we get him back pretty soon because
yeah, I like him.
I like talking about I don't know. I guess maybe he.
And you know he's in
about
good
the same
with
kind of stuff that.
Well, Brent Miller, he's in good with that guy. They
That's
part
true.
of the. He was in that first episode of the Horizon Project.
Yep, that's true.
Well, anyway, David Icke.
Oh, David Icke.
What can you say about David Icke?
You need to get this guy back now, man.
I'm going to get David Icke back.
I want to ask him about Bill Clinton being the illegitimate son
he'll tell
of
you.
Rockefeller. Yeah, well, apparently he was already written about it. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, David Icke is a strange character, and he's a really, really nice guy, really cool. His wife, I've corresponded with her many times. She's a very sweet lady, and they're very, you know, just very awesome people. Now, I don't believe the way they do, but that's okay. They're awesome people. I don't give them a lot of crap like I do a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I probably will when they come back, but I'll warn him. Anyway, I'll give him a heads up because I'm a nice guy. I've done some help. You know, they're going through a lawsuit and stuff, and I've not given them help legally because they're in England, and I can't give them help legally in the U.S. I don't have a license, but I've written them a letter to the court saying that, you know, this person that's trying to sue them had nothing. You know, we didn't have contact with them because apparently they're in some kind of lawsuit. This guy says, you know, that
Can we talk about this?
I don't know. Sure. Well, okay, I won't talk about it. But anyway, basically someone's misrepresenting themselves and saying that he's worked a lot with them, and he hasn't.
Yeah.
You know, because we did contact directly through David's wife. And I'm sure we can talk about that because that's what the letter I wrote to the court was, basically saying, hey, you know, I don't know who this guy is, and nobody else does either. You know, and you know, they got a lot of letters like that from a lot of other, you know, supporters out there.
So hopefully that crap will sort of...
Yeah, but this guy's basically, from the way that I see it, and this is my opinion, and if they don't like it, the people, this guy that is trying all this crap can come over here and swim across a little pond and sue me, you know?
Try to.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, but
not really.
And he's gonna have. If he comes, he don't want to get on this boat.
Not gonna, no.
So
it's not going to work.
The point is, though, you know, they're cool people. We'll need to definitely get them back on because David's a really cool guy.
He has a very interesing viewpoint.
Perspective. Yeah, Joshua P. Warren is next.
This might have been my first show here.
Joshua was the first show.
Yeah, I think so.
You remember Joshua being on? We only had him on for an hour, and like the second 2 hours, what did we?
I think there was a
pre-records.
Yeah,
we threw some pre-records.
What was it? Oh, Marshall Cup. There it is.
It's right there.
Yeah, I know. But there was something else, wasn't
You arranged it as such.
Wasn't there like 3? I wanted to say that there was more than that because Marshall Cup's only an hour, and Josh, we only had him for an hour, but we had a 3-hour special.
Adam Gorightly?
Was it? Was that only an hour? I don't know. Might have been. No, Adam Gorightly was playing the first time I took the bar exam. The first time I took the bar. God, this is pathetic. This is pathetic. Oh my God. Yeah. Anyway, regardless, So Chuck was here. I guess this is your first show with
you
Josh.
should
See, you missed David Icke. No, David Icke was the pre-record that we threw up, wasn't it?
Oh, okay, maybe
Yeah.
that. Yeah, okay.
That
David
was
Icke,
it, yeah.
because we only talked to David for about an hour. So
Yeah,
those
that
three
was it,
together.
those three together.
You should probably mention somewhere here that Chuck shows up for the first time.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
You
I
know.
think he shows up here at Joshua Warren. Is that the first one you remember?
I think so, man.
Because I don't remember you being here for Michael Zarian.
I don't remember really many of the. I mean, I remember Ethan because he's been on since. I remember.
Yeah. Well,
Zaffis
you went on.
too,
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah. So you remember Joshua being on What's Live?
I definitely
Okay.
remember this show.
All right. So Chuck, were you actually working with us then, or I think you
I
might
may
have just
been
came in to
observing
check it out?
the operation.
You're like, oh God, these guys are planning on doing this every week. What's going on?
You guys are insane. Anyway.
Yeah. So Chuck came in at Joshua, and then for some reason we kept him around. He decided he wanted to stay. I don't know what happened.
Poor guy.
So anyway, then we had actor Marshall Cup, same show. That's a good one. Omen. You know, it was like, well, how much screen time you have in this? I can't tell you what's going to happen. I can't tell you this.
I have at least 15, 20 minutes, right?
He's got like a minute and a half.
He has
No,
like one line.
probably 2 minutes. He's got like one or two lines, and that's it.
Really?
And so they cut all that out in post.
And we were totally thinking that.
And he was a new character. You know, he wasn't in the
So
original.
how much screen time was he originally supposed to have before post production?
He didn't
said-
know, but he said he
yeah.
probably had about 15, 20 minutes.
But they just
Wow.
edited it down.
They cut all that out.
Yeah. He was a nice guy, too. He had a very interesting history.
He was cool.
Yeah.
And then we had the infamous David Ferrant,
Oh, yeah. Now
Sean
we get into
Manchester feud, man. And
Now
it
the
started.
thing is, our first show, incidentally, was about the Highgate Vampire. You know, that's
But no one was
initially-
listening to that.
No,
I
one
forgot
was
to
lis-
mention that show when we were up there the first time. Yeah, we did do a show about
Yeah,
that. I forgot
that
about
was the first one. It was about the Highgate Vampire.
And we just talked about the people involved.
Yeah,
and how
we
we'd
were just
like to
talking
get
about
them.
it. You know, I
I
think,
think
we,
that show didn't get recorded either.
No, we just read it a little bit off the website, and who knows what. It doesn't really matter. The point is that we were doing that, right? And so it brings up the whole issue that this entire thing comes around, and that is between David Ferrant and the Bishop Sean Manchester.
Yeah.
You know, and we
Well-
so badly wanted these people
Well, I wanted
together.
I really wanted Sean Manchester, and we had talked about this.
Yeah.
I want Sean Manchester. He hadn't given an interview in like 3 years. He said he ain't going to do it anymore.
Yeah, and we thought, well, we just lost our chance.
So I said,
you
well,
know?
you know what? Let's David Ferrant. I've looked and looked for him. I can't find him.
Yeah.
Joshua P. Warren had him on his show. So I contacted Josh. Well, actually, I contacted Micah Hanks,
Yeah.
who's Josh's producer.
Right.
And I said, see, what's up, man? Producers there do work. Chuck, get on it. They email people for Josh.
bunch
What's
of
up, man? Why
nothing.
am I doing this?
Bunch
Anyway.
of nothing.
Anyway, we were trying to find David Ferrant. I got
Right.
a hold of Micah Hanks, and Micah actually had his email address, so I contacted him, and he said, "Sure, I'll be more than happy to do it." As soon as we posted his picture
Oh my gosh.
and his little story paragraph about him, we started getting email from Bishop Sean Manchester's people at the Vampire Research Society. I mean, immediately, and they were all like emails like, you shouldn't have this guy on the show because of this, he's this, he's that, he's the other.
Basically
and I'm like,
knocking the gas.
yeah, and
you
I'm
know?
like, all right, well, look, he's our guest. We invited him on here.
Mm-hmm.
Butt out. So then I got a little pissy with it because they kept emailing, and so I even said on the air, I'm like,
And
look,
oh my gosh, they would send like two sentences like David Ferrant is a liar or whatever.
I mean,
no,
it
was like
crazy.
paragraphs
I mean,
and pictures,
pages.
clips. I mean, somebody took some serious
Newspaper articles
research.
from the 1960s, late 60s, early 70s. They're sending that they scanned in.
and it worked. It worked both ways too. You know?
Oh yeah, David. They did the same thing back and forth, and it got so crazy. Our message board that we had up, we got shut down
Yeah.
twice by our provider because I guess one of them reported it, and then it was reported again of violating terms of service because they're posting pictures of Sean Manchester in a Nazi uniform.
man, it
I mean,
just-
it was just crazy.
I mean,
the
it
stuff
got
they were
so
doing.
ugly talking about. Oh, I'm not going to get into details.
Yeah,
it was
let's
just long.
just leave it alone.
It's like one of the oldest feuds in the paranormal community.
Well, so
obviously.
anyway, what we did is we said, well,
and we got it.
bring Sean Manchester on the show and let him give his side of the story. Well,
Plain as day.
why
not?
Yeah, well, and I figured that's
We
so
are
that's
into dialogue,
that's
you
the
know?
WOTU challenge. We were going to issue a challenge to them and say, come on the show. That's the WOTU challenge. You knock our guest, and if that's fine. If you want to knock the guest, come on the show and do it. And we tried to get it set up to where they'd have like a live feud, like the Jerry Springer of Paranormal Radio. That didn't work out for us. They wouldn't agree on
glad
that.
it didn't actually.
Yeah, they wouldn't agree on that. Yeah,
'Cause
we
I-
wouldn't have been able to say anything.
No, because we wouldn't, and it would have eventually ended up with one of them hanging up
I know.
after about 10 minutes.
I know.
So I'm glad we didn't do that. You know,
Like Prophet Yahweh.
Well, to his credit, he did stick in there, though.
He did. He
Yeah.
did. I mean, and he had a lot of people calling to knock him, dude. And he
anyway, let's
he hung out.
Yeah.
All right, Alice Cridge from Silent Hill. This is the first
Scott?
show that Trent was gone on. Yeah. Oh, did I miss? Oh, I missed
Yeah, you
some
missed-
again. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong
Anyway,
screen.
David Friend was a good
Yeah,
interview.
it was a
and
good interview.
We're just going to leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that.
Listen to it. It's good.
Exactly. It's some of the
You know,
best
play it.
paranormal radio out there between
Yeah.
that and Sean Manchester
Yeah,
because
'cause we're gonna get
these
into
are all
that.
the people that were there, so you can hear it
Yeah.
firsthand. Sacred Connections. Psychic Barb and Lisa Powell. Nothing really memorable from that.
No, not
Although
really.
that one thing Cora said that the psychic predicted she was going to be sick or something like
Yeah.
that, that was kind of
Yeah.
weird.
That's true.
But other than that, I mean, nothing really stands out. I mean,
Yeah.
psychics. I'm not really a big fan of psychics, you guys know. that.
I honestly don't. I'm dubious of them as well.
I think it's a lot of cold read, John Edward,
Things.
whatever he calls the show.
I don't really know what I think about psychics. In
You
general.
were obviously you were here for that, Chuck. What did you think of him?
Yeah, I think that there was a moderate amount of cold reading going on over the telephone there.
Yeah, because it was a lot of things that just weren't.
That was
true
a
at
lot
all.
of generalities, and I mean, you
I
can
know
predict
someone that's going to die. That's
or
an actor.
something bad's going to
Wow.
happen to you. Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, great. Thanks. Oh, anyway, then we did Alice. No, wait
Wait a minute.
Sean
Didn't they
Manchester.
have a name though?
What?
It was
Yeah, they
Barb and Lisa
changed it,
Powell,
though.
but
They-
it was something else.
They had,
right?
It was something like
Moon Sister.
Jeez,
and,
that's
uh,
right because
Silver Swan or
they're
something.
related.
I don't know.
One's an in-law or something.
yeah,
right?
one's an
Yeah,
in-law,
yeah,
the
they
other,
are related.
but they had like some kind of like
I want to say it's some
pseudonyms for one time, but then they
That-
changed it.
that I'm sure Scott would make.
I would totally make fun of today that I didn't at
Yeah.
the time, but yeah, it was something like I don't remember Sacred Moon or something.
I
like
think
that.
it's fairly safe that we're probably not going to have them back on.
Well, yeah, but they're still friends. I mean, they're on our
Yeah.
MySpace.
That's
you
true.
know. I mean, they're cool people. I don't have
they
anything
are,
against
and
them.
and the thing
Even
is,
though go
well,
ahead.
the thing is about psychics. I mean, maybe it just came out that it just didn't work. Sometimes the vibes or whatever, however they run their
That's true.
their ability,
That's
it
true.
just it just wasn't clicking. And if it were done in another,
They couldn't find
format-
enough research about us on the internet.
No, okay, Scott. No, but I mean that maybe just the format or just how it worked. I mean, it just wasn't working. And that happens sometimes with all psychics. Who,
Bishop Sean Manchester.
You know what?
What?
I don't want to say a whole lot about things, but I mean, if there's any of our WOTU guests that I really, really, really would want to meet in person, it would be Bishop Sean Manchester.
I have to
hands
agree with
down. I want to meet this guy.
You weren't here for this, were you, Chuck?
No, I don't
No, I mean
think-
you
because
were
it's a
you were here when we
pre-record.
played it, but you weren't here when we
It
did
was
the
a
Oh,
interview.
pre-record.
okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But Bishop Sean Manchester is probably one of the most interesting, unusual, and very memorable kind of people that you just
You'll ever
run
have.
across. I mean,
And very polite.
Oh man,
very polite.
He has taken the notion of the charming Englishman,
And he's
to the-
captured it.
He is the master of that.
Oh, he really is. I mean,
Some- I
just to
mean-
talk to this guy.
Just paying.
I remember
just paying all
off-
kinds of compliments. I mean, it was just
Yeah, off
amazing.
the air, he was talking about how he loved the Southern accent in the Americas because it reminded him of the way that people used to talk in England.
Yeah.
And D shaking his head. Yeah, well,
That's very
D,
true.
he
I mean-
lived in what was it, near London for
Cambridge.
about a year, in Cambridge for about a
Yeah.
year, and so you heard that all the time.
It's
And-
very true.
and that
I
was
mean,
very
actually,
cool.
There's a place down in Wilmington that apparently the villagers, it's almost like a village outside of Wilmington. It's very isolated, but they maintain that kind of archaic form
Hey,
of
D,
speaking.
pull on up, D.
Yeah, come
Say
on.
hey. Be on our Christmas show.
We have a
That's what-
special guest.
Just say a few words
Our
and
old friend
introduce
D.
yourself
Clements.
to everybody.
Hey, I'm D.
You got to get up a little bit more on
I'm
the mic.
sorry.
Yeah, I know. There we go.
Is that better?
That's good, sweetie. And here I am knocking the homos all year. It's because I'm seriously in the closet now. We know that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Go ahead,
but,
Dave.
No,
so you lived in Cambridge for a year.
Yeah, I lived in Cambridge for a year, and the places that I'd go, everybody would be like, "Oh, where are you from? Oh, you're from America. Oh, that's great. Oh, I love your Southern accent. That's just amazing. And it'd just be on and on and on and on and on about stuff. It was just it almost got sickening, almost to a point. You just
When you've heard it like the
constantly hear it
1,000th
over and
time.
over again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's that common.
Oh yeah.
And
Very
see,
crazy.
we all like their British accents because we
That's
think
true.
they're authoritative. Because they're
Yes.
British. It doesn't matter what they're saying. If they're telling you the Earth is like flat, you're like,
I believe I shall go to the store and buy a broom. You need to get the dustpan. Yes, sir.
yes,
Yes.
okay.
I'm going to get some milk. I'll get the bread. Excellent.
But anyway,
Anyway.
Bishop Manchester, really cool guy.
I mean, just-
the recordings, I hate it that he played them over the phone. I wish he could have sent us something.
yeah, 'cause-
and when I talked to him, he's coming back next year. And when I talked to him again, he's filming a documentary right now.
Is he really?
That's what he told me.
Okay.
And he apologized because I was like, well, he hates us. He never wants to come back because I emailed him in November. I just got an email back from him like a week ago.
Yeah.
And the weirdest thing was I was laying in the bed about to go to sleep. I'd been reading one of our guest books, and I put it down, and I was getting in the bed. It was really, really early in the morning. And I'm laying there thinking, I'm like, gosh, trying to think all the people I emailed from the new year and who was coming up and who was coming on. And I'm like, gosh, man, I really wish Sean Manchester would answer my email. Apparently, he doesn't want anything to do with another interview. He's tired of giving them.
That's very possible,
And he emails me the very next day when I got up to check my email. There's an email in there from Sean Manchester. Sorry about, not getting back to you so late. We've been shooting a documentary here. And, things have been crazy, and I just got it.
Maybe you really are psychic.
Maybe.
Maybe you have
Not.
some
Anyway.
psychic powers. I don't know what that voice is. I'm not sure where I'm getting that from.
Anyway, well, we're
It's a
gonna-
great interview, Sean Manchester, David Friend. You
we
got
got
to get
check
both of
them.
them.
If you don't have them, check them both out. We got an
should-
email from a guy that said that's the best, the best, like something that he called it the best in paranormal radio. So I'm like, it was a
With
very
Sean
high
Manchester.
praise. Both of them together.
Yeah.
He said
We
both
should-
of those
we
interviews
should-
are some
we
of the
should bundle
best.
those somehow,
And sell them. Yeah, no.
Well, seriously, have them both because I don't know. It's just it's one of our.
That's
I
what
mean,
makes us
it's only-
different. We're free.
Yeah, it's only our high. Only 1 year, and yet all of a sudden, Powell, this high point of.
But I don't think
interviews,
there's been a show, and I could be wrong. Maybe Coast to Coast did. I don't know, but I don't think there's ever been a show that's taken that's had both of those men on talking about the same thing. I think
Yeah.
we're the only one. I could be wrong. I'll
that's
check that
possible.
out later though.
Yeah,
but I'm curious.
you would think so.
Alice Cridge from Silent Hill.
I wasn't here. I don't know where I was.
You were on. Were you on your honeymoon?
Yes, it was.
No.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, because
yes,
D
he
was. D was.
Because
You were there?
I was on the. I was on the web. I was on the chat room.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Because he called us via his cell phone.
That's right. You were on.
From the hotel room.
No,
No, that was Elvis.
That was Elvis. Elvis's
Yeah.
live. Bill Beanie. No, now I know what it is. Alice Cridge. We did. I think you were still on your honeymoon, but we did a pre-record, and you couldn't make it because you were out of town or something.
No, it was just I was busy.
You were
that
at
day.
work. Something happened.
I couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it. It was last minute because our agent called me last minute and said, "Okay, she's in South Africa. Here's the number. Call her today," or something.
that
It was
makes
something
the
like
second
that.
time you guys
yeah.
have called South
and so
Africa.
Chuck, thank God, helped me with that, and thank God also because Chuck saved me. You remember, I didn't know anything about Star Trek, and that's one of the things she's most known for. And Chuck knows he's like this big Trekkie dork, and he knew. I'm messing with you.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with
Well, we
Uh-oh.
have to admit it.
But yeah, so did you even hear that one, Trent?
Huh?
He's avoiding the question. I said, have you ever
Yes,
even
yes,
listened to
yes,
that
yes,
interview?
yes.
You did hear it.
Yes, I totally.
Why are you saying yes and shaking your head no?
Damn it, Scott! How about I do like that?
Okay, wink your eye at me. There we go.
Man, I hope some of this is
Because this is
edited out.
radio.
Yeah.
Well,
You kind of have to do like non-verbal forms of communication because you're talking all the time,
I
Scott.
know.
You're using the words, so you can't really communicate some things through words because the words are coming out. My
It
gosh.
doesn't matter if you hadn't heard it. It was
Okay.
good. It was good.
I've been meaning to, seriously.
Well, the one thing that stands out in my memory, I guess, from
Yeah, this
from
is your
having
first
done
time doing it.
Well, yeah, but the one thing I remember asking her, I guess, about having played the Borg Queen and
Borg Queen.
acting and all that in makeup, 3 hours, up, an hour and a half to take it down, the makeup. She mentioned during the interview that one of the things they did to her costume is they do you remember this?
Yeah.
They slathered it all in KY jelly
Oh
apparently to
my
give it that
gosh!
wet look.
All of a sudden, Trekkie's all over, going.
And not only is she, a dominatrix
she-
type character, for Star Trek.
Well, she's
but
got
yeah,
that naked pose in Ghost Story. She's in Ghost Story. She's the ghost in Ghost Story, and she's like naked in that. I mean,
And once again, Star Trekkers are going.
she's an older woman now, but I think she's pretty fine for an older woman.
She was also a madam of a brothel on Deadwood too. So yeah, I mean, she's hot.
All right, well, moving along.
She's all sexified.
And she's got that cool British accent.
She's hot.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Linda S. Godfrey, that's her name.
Yes, there she is. Linda S. Godfrey.
Hunting the American Werewolf, Beast of Bay Road. Good stuff. We're going to move along because we're running short on time.
The man right here.
And we're coming up on one of the most crazy interviews we ever did.
The other religious figure that
Prophet
we interviewed.
Yahweh. Oh, my God.
He's old school.
Dude, he's Farrakhan.
But he's Jewish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that was the first time I think that this was the first interview where the whole Christian conviction thing started coming out with me, because he was saying that Christ was a homosexual. And so I'm like, well, where is that?
I had a hard time.
And there was like a minute
that.
of silence. You remember, we just let him look. He's like, let me find my concordance. And there was like a minute. I was like, go ahead. And we just let it dead air.
We let that plane crash.
We did.
He did eventually find something to bail himself
It was out of
of.
context, though.
It totally was.
Anyway, but that was. I still use that interview in our shopper. We've got a shopper reel for those of you that don't know, when we shop to radio stations to get different places to pick us up. And it's a last interview on the shopper reel. There's a little clip out of that where he gets real mad at Pastor Harry, and Pastor Harry's trying to talk, and he's trying to talk, and he's like, just shut the hell up, you know. I mean, it's real loud, and then I'm like, whoa. And Trent's like, whoa, stop.
Yeah, granted, it's like Pastor Harry wasn't, exactly being. He had his own thing. This is the same guy that burned Santa Claus.
Yeah, Pastor Harry. He's coming up in March.
Anyway, but I mean, that interview was so insane, and I don't really even know what to think about Prophet Yahweh, but I mean, it definitely is a mention because it's just an interview that you need to, need to listen to it.
And to see the tapes, if you guys Google search Prophet Yahweh, you can probably find some of these videos where he calls down the UFOs. It is amazing to see, because I don't know what, I know it's a hoax somehow, some way. I don't know how he's doing it, though. I do not know how he's doing it. Anyway, Bill, they look like weather balloons to me, but they're like remote control or something. I don't know. Bill Beanie, Elvis is Alive Museum. That is still one of my favorite interviews.
And I agree, because it's such an offshoot of paranormal stuff, And
that's the one you called in on.
Yeah, I did call in that one. I kind of wish I was here for that one.
That was one of my. That's one of the least downloaded interviews we have, though.
That's too bad.
And that is, guys, if you're listening to this Christmas show, if you're downloading it, which you may or may not, because there's no guest, okay. But if you're listening to that, and I know we'll get some. We actually have quite a bit of downloads for that mixed bag thing we did. We're doing the Chewbacca impersonation.
Miserable failure of a show.
I'm like, Trent, do the Chewie impersonation. He's doing it. And
so apparently,
do it on this one. You have to.
Yeah, if all things fail, do the
Chewie. Go ahead.
Well, Scott, you got to set it up.
Punch it, Chewie. Exactly.
Oh, it's
and
great.
So anyway, and then Laura calls in and does the Chewbacca, because we were like getting call in and do your Chewbacca impression, and she calls in and does her Chewbacca impression. It was hilarious. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad, but it was hilarious.
That's the sound of a stoned cat.
It was hilarious.
Or a stunned mouse.
Well, anyway,
in a Dixie cup.
This was the best. So if you guys haven't heard this, and I know a lot of you hadn't, go and download the Bill Beanie Elvis is Alive Museum.
It's a lot of fun.
He's got some crazy stuff he talks about. This guy's a Baptist minister outside of Missouri, I believe.
He's a lawyer too, isn't he?
No, his son's a lawyer.
His son's a lawyer.
But this guy has got DNA proof that Elvis faked his death. And I mean, you know what? I really want to believe the guy, and I know the guy believes this stuff.
We'll have to go up there sometime, man, and check out his archives.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like the National Archive of Elvis conspiracy theories.
Exactly. And there's just nothing else like that. And, I actually settled for him, which, I admit it now, but I mean, and I didn't really, I wanted him because I liked the topic, but I couldn't find anybody to talk about it, and I found him, and he agreed to do it. And I was settling for him at the time, but it turned out to be a really good interview. And a lot of times that happens, you book a guest and you're like, this is going to kind of suck, and we'll book them anyway and see what happens. And sometimes, generally, well, I don't know if I'd say generally you're right. A lot of times you're right, and it's kind of like, it doesn't really suck, but it's kind of like, it's kind of just a lay-down interview. But he really surprised me, and I was really, once it was over, and actually once we started, and I started hearing some of the stuff he was saying, I was like, man, we got a jewel out of this thing, And it was,
it's one of those really, really cool things.
That was your first live show, Chuck.
That's right.
That was your first live show.
Mm-hmm. It was.
I listened to that one. That was great.
It was good.
Oh, man.
Bill Lloyd Auerbach.
Oh,
that was a good one.
Paranormal.
Professor Paranormal himself. I talked him into the podcast. I don't know what he's going to do with it now. I'm going to leave that alone.
Yeah, I think once again we go back to the whole thing with
Yeah.
the issue at hand.
Yeah.
But he was a
Okay.
good guest. He was a really nice guy, really cool.
Interview with the Next Vampire, Bill Schneblin.
You know, we watched that whole thing.
We watched all 9 DVDs.
You know, I mean, honestly, it was a real difficult thing to do.
We spent 2 days, and
It
we
really
watched
was.
all 9 of those things. And it was
There was so much stuff involved.
It was a 2-nighter, but we did with the first night we spent 4 hours watching it, 4.5. Next night the same thing. I mean, it was long, but you know there was so much information that's packed in there, and it was all good. And you know I want people to hear Bill's got now. When he comes to the conference, he's not going to talk for 9 hours. I promise you. When he comes to the conference, June 9th, 2007, him, John Zaffis, myself, who else we got? Trent, Chuck,
Al Prophet.
Teresa Bain, and possibly Laura. I think she decided she's going to come down. All are going to be there. It's going to be a big conference. He's only going to speak about 2 hours about this stuff. But man, great guy, and I can't wait to see you guys out there.
He's a very well-informed guy.
Yes, he is.
About a wide variety of the things that he's talking about.
Tickets are $50, and we're going to put that on the World of the Unexplained site. We've got to pre-sell 25, or we're going to cancel it by April 29th. So just check it out, though, guys. The reason the tickets are so high is we've just got to cover all our costs here. But it's going to be.
I mean, we're totally funding ourselves, you know.
Yeah, we can't afford to come out of pocket to pay all these travel expenses for these guys, and so I mean it's not like we're trying to make a fortune by any means, but it's June 9th, 2007. It's going to be in Greensboro, North Carolina, and we'll have more details as they come. But it was a good interview, and I'll leave it at that. Ghostly Talk interview. This is when we first met Scott, L, and Doug. And you remember this interview.
Was it really? That was the first time you'd met them?
No, I talked to him on the phone.
We hadn't actually.
But it was kind of like one of
spoken
those
to them.
silent standoffs for a while.
Yeah, you think so? Because I mean, they're like the
They're the daddies of this stuff.
And here we are, the young upstart. You know, it's like Lee Van Cleef and Clint Eastwood in that movie. You know?
And they'll tell you there was no silent standoff. I'm telling you, there probably was.
a little bit.
They knew who we were, and I remember when they got the email, it's like, well, we don't, it's kind of like one of those, we didn't know who you guys were or whatever. And I'm like, dude, we're on the same network. At the time we were, it's like,
you can't help but not
know who we are. But it's okay. But no, there's are great guys, man.
Yeah,
I love
they
to
really
death.
are.
And once
And
we
they have
got to
some
know
good
each other, man, we've had nothing but fun with those guys. Unfortunately, we didn't get to meet Scott L. He didn't get to come down, but Doug came down. And
maybe
Doug
another time.
Doug's an awesome guy.
Yeah, he is.
We had a great time with Doug and John and Al. All these guys.
I mean, just a lot of fun, and I think that's one of the reasons why we do this.
Yep.
This is what we do, Scott.
And then Ethan returned. We're not going to mention that. We're just going to say Ethan returned because if you guys don't know who Ethan Dettenmeyer is, check it out because it is just some hilarious stuff. The guy's just, he's just awesome.
Anyway.
That's all I got to say. Dirk Vanderplu.
Dirk Vanderplu. This guy has
my gosh.
an amazing name.
And it was an amazing show.
Yeah, it was.
I thought it was going to be awful.
You did?
I did, originally. I'm like, okay, I'm putting Dirk on. He asked me if I need any guests. Hint, hint, book me on your show.
Yeah.
He runs SciTalk. And I was like, oh, man, it's going to be, this is
know
before
what
we
to
started talking about UFOs, so we really didn't know a lot about it.
Yeah.
And we were staying away from UFOs.
Because every paranormal talk show
everybody was
does
doing it.
That's
And we were like,
exactly
we're
why.
staying away from UFOs.
We wanted to do something different.
But everybody on our website constantly voting UFOs. I want to hear about UFOs. I want to hear about aliens.
UFOs,
so we're finally like, fine, you can hear about UFOs. Yeah, exactly.
That was kind of cool. Anyway.
So I said, fine, you can hear about UFOs. And we booked him. And you know what? It was a lot of fun.
Actually, it was
I don't even remember what we
fun.
talked about, but I just know it was hilarious. We were rolling with him. We were laughing. We were cutting up.
Man, it was just,
and he had a great
just a
time,
lot
too.
Of fun. I don't even know how much of it was paranormal topics and how much was just us.
I don't. All I've got here for the description, though, is after we talk about it's like we speak with Dirk Vanderplu about all kinds of things from UFOs to ETs and more. This was a fun show. We were in rare form. Don't miss it.
Yeah, that sums it up rather well.
The Bell Witch, Pat Fitzhugh.
Oh, he's a great storyteller. He's got that.
I saw that movie finally, The American Haunting.
What do you think of it?
It's good.
Yes.
But you know what they do in it? And I don't want to give any a plot to wait to somebody that hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, then don't listen to it. I'll tell you about it later, put it that way.
Okay.
They put a twist on the Bell Witch that's not there.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I don't think.
And we'll leave it at that. So if you hadn't seen it, it is a good movie, though. Still a great movie. Go see it. It's
a great interview.
It is a great interview. Thomas Horn, The Armand Gate. That's probably one of the best interviews we had.
That was a very good one.
It was a very good one.
Yeah, it
the
was.
second one, it's good, but it's
I
not.
think it lacked focus.
Yeah, exactly.
We were all over the place on the second interview. The
Well,
first
generally we
interview-
are all over the place, but
Well-
at least the guest kind of keeps it in check somehow.
And I mean, we didn't say maybe 4 sentences the whole night of the second interview.
Yeah.
And I think he just got into 1 or 2 subjects and he just kept trucking. But that first interview, man, was amazing.
Yeah, it was
and
very good.
I don't want to say anything bad about Tom because he's not only is he a great guest, but he is a great guy.
That first interview was
The first interview was
probably
the bomb.
one of the
though.
best ones I think that
we've done,
I've
period.
witnessed here.
Yeah.
So check it out.
Terry James, Rapture Dialogues. Trent, I know you weren't too thrilled with this.
You know
one.
what? I really am not. You know, you don't like your cryptids. I don't like talking about biblical prophecy.
I know.
I really don't. I think it's a waste of time.
Okay.
You know.
Well, that's the way to talk about it. Okay.
Yeah. You should probably add that out. Actually.
No, it's okay. I'm gonna leave it.
I really look. No. Listen, it's like this, and I'm just gonna.
Satan worshiper.
All right, put your damn sword away. You know, I'm sacking the city just like you are. Okay.
I know.
I don't know what that means, but
it's okay. No, really.
Sacking the
He's
city.
sacking the city just like I am, Chuck.
Apparently, we're all Visigoths at the gates of Rome. It's like, listen, Vercingetorix, you know, I may not believe in your pagan deities, but I still believe Rome must burn. Anyway, no.
Well, anyway,
my point about it is
it was a good interview, though.
But yes, Terry James is a great guy, and I love the interview. It's just the subject.
You're just
material.
it's like me with cryptids. Lauren Coleman
Right.
for me don't float my boat.
Yeah, it's
It
just.
doesn't. I was kind of bored.
I think
honestly during the interview I was kind of bored. I'm playing on the internet.
I think
Trent's asking most of the questions, which is fine, and we get
'cause
that. That's the same way with Terry James. Trent's playing on the internet.
The thing, the thing about it is, I mean, as far as biblical prophecy and rapture and all that stuff, is that people could spend less time trying to worry about whenever the Antichrist is going to dominate the world and enslave us all into a land of destruction and chaos, and they could spend that time that they're doing that, waiting for it to happen, and they can turn around and use that time to do more Christianly things. You know?
Okay.
Follow the
I'm
other
going out of
tenets.
order actually this time, but that's okay. It's kind of in the same time period.
Is that it, Scott?
Yeah.
I mean,
we're gonna move on. Jeff Danilek.
Scott.
This is the quote where Chuck said, "I thought you were going to make the guy cry."
There was dead air for at least a good 30
Yeah,
seconds
there
after you
was
told
some-
him you didn't believe in ghosts.
So you believe it? No. You know, the thing about it
And the
is,
thing is,
I think you're just being openly antagonistic.
I was totally being openly because the thing was, we were talking on break, and
But
you guys,
his book is openly antagonistic about Christianity.
I know it is, and we were talking.
Not antagonistic, but it's like passive aggressive.
And he's like,
you know?
I used to be a born again Christian, but I'm not anymore because I found a better way. Is basically what he's saying, and that kind of, we're talking on the break, and that kind of. It pissed me off a little bit. And so we get back on after the break, and nobody heard anything that happened during the break because we're off air, So they're just hearing music and ads. And then we get back on, and I'm like driving into this guy, and people's like, what happened, But Chuck, it was so funny. He's like, well, do you believe in Ghost Jay? And I'm like, no.
But
and
it was
I
the
just
way you
stopped.
said it,
Exactly. And it was hilarious.
And I have to admit, I mean, there's a lot. If I had read more of that book, and if you had read, I shouldn't say this. Maybe that should be edited out.
I did read that book, actually.
And then you made me take it home because you didn't want to see it around here anymore.
Well, look, I'll be honest with you.
You're just trying to make me edit this, aren't you?
Yes, I'm sorry, Scott. Listen.
No, I had
I'll
an
be-
extra copy. Remember, that was the one I had the free copy. That's why I gave it to you. I still have my copy.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't read the entire book. I'm sorry. There are other things going on.
Well, sometimes we don't read the entire
But
books.
if I had read that last part of the book when he was not, I mean, just these things he was saying about Christianity and religious belief in general, and it really, really bothered me a lot. And if I had heard that stuff, I'm sorry,
You'd have gone off too.
I would have.
I know.
I mean, it was just like the way he said it and his rationale behind it is just like, look, you. No.
Yeah, and that happens, guys. We don't read all the book. We don't read the books in their entirety all the time because
Unfortunately,
we can't.
yeah.
A lot of these things
We
are
can't.
tomes. Like the Suicide book, I didn't read that whole thing. Do you know how big that thing's like 700 pages?
Right. I mean, maybe if this were our career and we're getting paid to do it, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? But
And
we're
we're not.
not. So
This is
just a little bit. Let's just break that veil a little
yeah,
bit.
and we are. I mean, this is something. I mean, it's a once a week show, and we have other things that we do besides this, and we
Yeah.
just don't have the time.
So anyway, Jeff Danilek, wow.
All right.
I don't know if we're gonna have him again.
Don't want him back on. And that's just, I mean, unless I get to beat him and and
Yeah, I don't think he'll want to be back on.
I don't think he will either because I mean, I'll tell I mean, if I don't get to pick on him, it's no fun.
Yeah.
If I don't get to be brash and rude and offensive like I normally am to people that are openly brash and rude and offensive to Christianity, I don't want him on.
Yeah.
It's fun for me.
You need to go to that website, goddessforsuckers.com.
Oh, man. We should get that guy on.
Pretend to be a German nihilist, and get on there and just really I'm sorry. That was my
we should
plan.
invite the guy on the show. I've got
Goddess
something
for
for him.
Suckers.
Yeah, I got something for him.
I mean, if he wants to step up to the plate, you go to that website and you listen to some of the stuff those people were talking about.
Okay.
And it is
he can step up to the
absolutely,
plate.
I mean, awful.
They're on the bullet train to hell. It's all right.
So anyway.
Possessed, the real story behind the Exorcist movie.
Oh, that was pretty good.
That was great. Thomas B. Allen.
And that was a good movie, actually.
It was a good movie. If you guys hadn't seen the film, like we urged you in the interview,
which you should be,
yeah, go and see it. I still think they have that movie available at Blockbuster to rent.
Yeah,
and it's
I think
called
so.
Possessed. It's got the guy from that used to be James Bond. What's his name?
It was only James Bond, like
one
time.
movie or two movies. I
Yeah,
think.
Living Daylights and View to a Kill.
Dalton?
Timothy Dalton. Yeah.
License to Kill and
He plays a
Living
heck of a
Daylights.
priest, though.
Yeah.
He plays a heck of a priest, a drunk priest. Drunk priests are always good because
Yeah.
you can trust them. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
No,
a priest with flaws, you
yeah,
know,
and
someone
that's
we
what
can
made him
relate
more
to.
human because he had the flaws. But the thing was, I think in real life, didn't Alan say that that the actual priest himself didn't have those flaws?
But he was in Nam, apparently.
Yeah,
and had
but he
spent
didn't.
Some
Yeah,
brutal time. But anyway, that was a good interview and a good interview about an excellent book and an excellent movie. And
moving on. Mixed bag.
Oh.
Chris Ratowski and Ian Baird.
Who knows who those people are? We were talking to them all of 3 minutes. The entire
Everything that could possibly go wrong
did go wrong.
The guest bailed, and what else happened, man?
That was the Chewbacca one.
Well, the
where-
guest didn't bail. What had happened is I'd forgotten. I'd so busy, and I've had all these things going on, and I forgot that he had emailed me saying, because I'd moved some stuff around anyway. I moved guests around for that week, and I had all kinds of, I don't remember.
It was very confusing.
I missed the email somehow in cross communication because who that was, believe it or not, and this is why he got scheduled so late because we just had him on, was the Billy Meyer guy.
Yeah.
Michael Horn. That's who was scheduled for that. week. That's how long, because we book it so far in advance here. I didn't have another slot to put him in until like just the other day.
Yeah.
This is how. I mean, we book in advance. I mean, right now we're already booked up. We're almost done with April of 07. So if that gives you any idea. Because I'm thinking, gosh, I've got to leave room for John sometime in June because I've got to promote this conference, right?
Yeah.
Or in April, I mean. And I mean, that's how far ahead we book. I
Yeah.
mean, Bill Schneblin's already booked for February.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah,
It was
the computer
insane.
crashed 7 times or something
Oh,
during
just
that.
mayhem.
Network errors and all sorts of stuff.
Mayhem of the highest order.
William Beck.
William Beck.
Is he the redheaded guy on there?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You remember William Beck?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
The Harp's Fury.
Oh, he was awesome actually.
Yeah. There's a guy that he was talking about beating up the old man. You remember that?
Oh yeah, that was awesome. He used like that lock.
No, well, I don't think he fought. Did he fight him? Or
No, I think he just sort
he
of
was, like,
did.
threatening. He was like
did.
got in a stance to like beat him up. And I'm like, it's like an old dude, man.
Yeah, that was hilarious. That guy's he's a trip.
He was
really
funny,
is.
and his book's good too. So pick it
Yeah,
up if you
it
get
is.
a chance. It's
We
good.
should
Harp's
have him
Fury.
back if we can too, man. If we
Yeah, we
can
should.
fit him in.
Well, yeah, I mean he's an author. We'll talk.
Well, he's
about his
writing.
next
He's writing a new
book.
one. Yeah, he's writing another one.
Whatever. That's the cool thing about interviewing authors. Is
They write
They have
more.
new books that we can interview them on.
All right, President's Vampire.
That guy was. Speaking of authors,
That guy was good. That appealed. I think that book appealed to both you and I.
Yeah, because
More so than a lot of stuff. It's like some stuff appeals more to you than me, and some me more than you. But that book appealed to your cryptid stuff. It appealed to my.
Well, it's just it was American history and weirdness,
Yeah,
And I think
I appealed to
if
everybody.
there's anything that
Even
Scott and I
Chuck.
enjoy, it's American history and weirdness, And the book was really, really good and hilarious at times, and just amazing.
Who was the president that had the vampire? James Monroe?
Andrew Johnson,
Andrew Johnson.
One of the least remembered presidents. Of the
and
United
one of the
States.
presidents from North Carolina, actually.
Really, I didn't know that.
Andrew Johnson, James K. Polk, and Andrew Jackson.
Wow.
It's the three. Anyway, what's the capital of Mongolia?
One of Chuck's favorite guests, Ed Waller, U.S. of A. versus U.S. I know Chuck enjoyed that episode.
Oh
didn't
yeah, that one was awesome, man.
And you were so thinking like, yeah, I'm going to show him with my big old law degree. He's wrong.
he? No, he
And
is wrong.
But you know what? You didn't. It was just like you didn't. The things he was saying, you couldn't.
I couldn't. Yeah, I mean, he was
know.
very. You know, and that's the thing, man. When I first talked to him on the phone, he was very. He came off to me, and I'm not saying he was, but he came off to me as being really arrogant and very. The way he talked to me was like he was talking down, and dude, that right there bothers me more than anything. And you know, especially from a guy. I don't even think this guy went to college. I'm not sure, or either that or he. No, I think he's got like a 4-year degree in engineering.
Yeah.
But I'm like, who are you to talk down to me? You know, I've taught college. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of really got me fired up. And I thought he was really gonna try to go into these cases with me. I'm like, you know, don't go into a case law study against somebody that's been to law school when you haven't been there, because you're gonna lose the argument.
You have some pretty
plain and
well-founded
simple.
stuff, though, there, man.
Yeah.
For instance, like the Social Security numbers is it's originally stipulated in federal law that you have to live inside, or it was only intended originally for residents inside the District of Columbia.
Exactly. But you see how things change in the
Yeah,
law, and how case law changes, and the way that we view things change, and that becomes the new law. And that's why, I don't know, it's still an interesting program, and you should download it, although I would be cautious to take any of the advice in that.
Exactly.
You may find
The
yourself...
IRS would be
man. If you
up your
decide not
ass.
to pay your taxes,
Yeah.
brother, you're going to jail. Okay, bottom line. They will find you.
So anyway,
They got your number, baby.
what's next?
Pamela Heath and John Climo. Yeah, you weren't here that week. You had some family things to take care of.
Yeah, there were some issues I had to take care of.
family
That
emergency.
and actually, I think the next week or maybe
I don't
three.
know. Well, anyway, Suicide, me and Chuck did. That was pretty interesting.
It was 2 guests, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was her and John Climo. They co-authored the book together.
Yeah,
And that was, it was a
that
strange...
was one of those tomes that you were talking about.
Excuse me. I think that's where I went off the first time about the Islamic fascist or something. That was the show where I first went off about Islamo-fascism, and I called it that too. So it's kind of funny. And they got all defensive. It's kind of hilarious, actually.
You know what?
What? Go ahead, Sam.
I am somewhat miffed about the whole notion of Islamo-fascist. I mean, you think about that. You know, you're placing a religion and putting it in context of a political system.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And fascism is basically rule by the dominant leader of the dominant party, a political party, a party of man. Islam is talking about the submission of your will to Allah. So how in the world can those things coincide?
I'm not. We're not going to get into that now.
I'm just pointing that out to you,
we will.
Scott.
No,
I mean,
I understand.
you know, it's a political system and a religious system. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
It sounds good together. We'll just leave it at that.
Halloween special. I don't think you were here for this.
No, I wasn't.
Chuck and I were. And we did Molly Stewart. I interviewed her one night. It was pre-recorded, and we played it. Billy Boris Pickett, the guy that wrote the Monster Mash. That was pre-recorded. That was good.
Yeah.
John Philbin, the actor, and Kevin Gage, the actor.
Mm-hmm.
John Philbin, for those of you guys that don't know, was in Tombstone. He was in Point Break. He was in North Shore. He was in Children of the Corn. And Kevin Gage was in Heat, Con Air, G.I. Jane, D. Snyder's Strangeland, The Burbs, and the 80s Werewolf series that he actually remembered and recalled the one episode, I think, that he played in.
Yeah.
He was like a biker. That was kind of fun. And then Halloween Special Part 2. This was a big thing for us. So Halloween, you know, we broke it all out. Camden Toy from Buffy the Vampire Slayer and from the Angel series. We had Wade Wilson. He's a sound designer in Hollywood. Simpsons, Futurama, Perfect Storm, Girl Next Door, 13 Days, Ring 2, Madagascar. And he's also formerly the drummer for the band 9 Inch Nails. And he talked to us about his role in St. John Smith. Then we had actor Greg Travis, Toolbox Murders, Starship Troopers, Showgirls, a film we all
Starship
enjoy.
Troopers.
Yeah. Night of the Living Dead 3D.
Showgirls, which we all enjoyed.
Yes, we did. And
I've never seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
that was the same episode that Chuck and I got into talking about politics and Vernon Robinson. So if you hadn't heard that, just download it for the last part where we're talking about Vernon, because that's some hilarious stuff there.
Yeah, it is. Vernon is hilarious.
Vernon is great. I would vote for him.
Well, that ad.
Really?
I would.
I would vote for him in jest.
I would vote
and the
for him
notion,
for real.
And the notion of he's never going to make it, so, you know.
You never know. He got like 30-some% of the vote, didn't he?
Well, so Vladimir Zhirinovsky.
Yeah,
But
about
anyway.
35%, I
That's
think.
pretty good.
Actually, he ran pretty well for running against an incumbent in Congress.
Yeah. Well, he basically all but came out and said Brad Miller was having some kind of homosexual lover in San Francisco, didn't he?
Yeah, one of his
Good old Vernon.
donors or somebody
Anyway,
that helped raise
Halloween
money for
special
it.
part
Right
3.
out of the Jesse Helms playbook. Anyway, Halloween Special Part 3. That was Ethan. He came in late, so we were talking a lot because he actually got a ticket when he was because he was trying
Yeah.
to speed home to talk to us. Then we had Stanton Friedman.
Yes.
UFO expert Stanton Friedman.
Master Stanton Friedman.
Stanton Friedman is probably the foremost expert on UFOs and ufology, or ufology.
Point out, flat out.
That's
Stanton
right.
Freeman.
He's the man.
He is, and
your dad called into that show.
once
He
again,
enjoyed
my
that,
pop did show up.
And he
Called
shot
again.
down. He shot down my beliefs in Bob Lazar.
Who's Bob Lazar again?
The guy that
From
supposedly
Area
was an
51.
MIT graduate and,
Oh,
supposedly
yeah.
reversed engineer or engineered UFO era spacecraft. I guess.
Yeah, I was pretty skeptical of old Lazar.
I've always been too, but I'm not above putting or having the government erase your past and malign your character.
Gotcha.
Make you do a system shock where you have to roll when you change from chaotic evil to lawful
Exactly.
good.
Michael
Most characters don't survive that,
Michael Haupt.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
3worldwars.com. Michael Haupt, World War III. That was an interesting show.
Yeah, it was.
South Africa
Once again,
again.
another call to South Africa, Cape Town, I believe it was.
I think you're right.
That was kind of cool. He had the term cultural agility, which appeals to me in a lot of ways somehow. That's
Okay.
what I just remember from it. It was a good interview.
Tom Horn interview too. Enough said.
Yeah.
We talked about that earlier. Brent Miller, the Horizon Project and remote viewing. I still need to book him for next year because he's still got to get the DVDs out to Chuck so Chuck can learn to remote view. And then we're going to get you to remote view the lottery for us, Chuck.
Yes.
So apparently it's got to be 200 to 1 odds. Apparently,
Do we have that here?
I don't know.
We're going to check that out.
Yeah.
Because then we're going to remote view. Chuck's going to remote view the lottery, and WOTU's going to make money, and then we're actually going to be able to count stacks of cash. Yes. Anyway, so
I want stacks of cash right here. I want an armchair made out of cash.
That's right.
Just
that we
dollar
can just
bills.
sit in.
Yeah.
And that was, Brent Miller was good, and we're going to have him back. That was a fun interview.
Yeah,
It was different.
The Horizon Project was pretty fun.
Yeah, and they're doing that again, horizonproject.com, I believe. Yeah. And yeah, if you listen to that podcast, you can actually save some money on the remote viewing, teach yourself remote viewing materials that's taught by Major Ed.
And
Bain.
there's a code that we
have. Special code. That
I don't know what it is.
I don't remember
now.
what it is
but
now.
It's
on
on
that podcast,
yeah,
and
so.
that's good forever. It's as far as until they finish selling it.
Yep, forever.
Twin Lakes Lodge investigation, night 1 and 2 with John Zaffis and Doug from Ghostly Talk.
Scott was
and Dr. Al
delirium.
Prophet.
That was great. That was
and
probably
Psychic Noelle, whatever her last name was.
Noelle. I don't know what her last name was.
It doesn't matter. She was a psychic.
Anyway, I mean that was that's one of the things where where WOTU had finally come around. We finally. I mean now getting Sean Manchester and David Grant.
That was good.
We got the interviews right, so we're a credible, verifiable radio show that can pull the people to come in and talk to us. About
the experts in the field.
The experts in the field. The big names. We get the big names, but here we are getting the big names, but we are also participating and going out there and doing stuff. Yeah. And I think it was really cool in us to be able to pool the resources together that we could get John and Doug,
all the way from their respective locations.
Right, and we could get them together and put them
in our neck of the woods.
In our neck of the woods.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And I think it was a time where we really came around, and it's probably the same time we started thinking about this this
conference.
Conference
we're doing in June. Yeah. Same thing.
What was
now Chuck saw some really creepy stuff happen, and I witnessed the VCR turning on by itself, but Chuck actually witnessed our board going crazy twice. And if you want to hear Chuck scream like a little girl, you can download Night 1.
You scream too. He's like, whoa, did you see that? Did you see that? Scott did it. I'm telling you.
That was creepy, man.
Listen, I mean,
a little Blair Witch moment there.
It was. If only we had a camera.
Except without the snotting and the crying.
And the up close, visual with the toboggan. Yeah, all right.
I don't know what that was. But
Trent's Blair Witch impersonation. Do it again. Oh my gosh! All right, and here's the thing, and I tell people this to this day. Trent and I fell for the Blair Witch scare.
We totally did.
On the Sci-Fi Channel.
We're into paranormal stuff, but we're chumps too.
We are. So we fell for it. This was a long time ago, though. We can admit to this.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, at the time, it really seemed legit, and like
Sci-Fi did that. That was a heck of a marketing promotion.
Yeah, it was. It was as good as
That was at the beach, and that's when we were breaking into the pool at night in the hotel, and Trent tripped off. Well, he did this dive off the top of the fence.
Superman dive almost.
And he landed sideways on his foot.
Dive into concrete. I don't really know what I was doing.
Hit the concrete really hard.
It hurt. I was cut up, bleeding
his
everywhere.
foot got the size of a football. We were kids. We were having a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
but I mean, it was fun. But it was like the old people were like speed walking in the morning.
Yeah, and we were in the Outer Banks, man. And you know who lives out there? Doctors, lawyers.
Yuppies.
Yeah, there's not a lot of tourists out there, and we're out there in the middle of basically somebody's backyard almost.
And it really wasn't the height tourist season either.
No.
Not really.
So everybody was like staring at it. It was funny. Oh,
It
I think
was
the tide woke us up coming in or something. Yeah, I think,
'Cause it's
like,
like,
I'm wet. What happened?
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
man.
bad.
And it was
That
dirt all
Porsche
things.
then. You remember that?
Yeah, that was the hottest drive ever.
And I didn't have my air had went out, so we had the top
it was a
out.
black Porsche.
But it looked
Bright-
cool.
Yeah, money pit. Don't buy a Porsche, Scott.
Yeah, don't buy a Porsche. Don't buy a used Porsche
And
because
I just
they are
remember, I
money
remember
pits.
driving through Rocky Mount, North Carolina. And
It started to
basically
rain.
It rained, and we had the
top out.
top
so we were
out,
getting
so we could
drenched.
And it was like I remember like on the way there, is like I saw Scott, and it was like you were sticking to the seats basically, and Scott just like had this
Look of
1,000-yard
just,
stare as I did. It was like,
Oh, this is
that's-
awful.
This
yeah.
is the worst drive I've ever taken.
And it's a good 5 hours from here to the
Ever.
end of the Outer Banks, man.
Yeah,
It's
and then
good. And it was summer hot.
I mean, but the rain and
Baking.
whatever. What
Yeah.
the heck does this have to do with?
I have no idea.
But it was just a fun story. I busted up my foot. You know what the really amazing thing was? I mean, I didn't break a single bone, even though, it's seriously, God
Yeah.
watches after fools and children,
And he did us that time.
At that,
Michael Horn, the Meyer contact.
yes, finally we get Michael Horn back.
Yep.
Good interview.
Is that all you're going to say?
I don't know what else to say. I mean, it kind of covers itself,
The DVD is really good. You guys ought to check it out. What is
It's really not a DVD. It's more of a slideshow.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
more of a
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint with audio narration.
But it's very
He
interesting.
admits to that. He owns
Yeah.
up to it.
So I mean, it's it involves a one-armed Swiss farmer, the UFOs, and things that will pertain to our future of the human race.
That's it.
And that should sum it up right
Yeah,
there.
it's a lot of bunk, but hey.
Yeah, well.
And then tonight's
Interesting.
episode, if you guys missed it, we did earlier tonight, was our live show with Dr. Daryl Bach, which was really amazing.
You know what? And I'm just thinking about all the questions that I had. We talked about Nag Hammadi. We talked about the Gnostic Gospels. We talked about those things. And I was thinking, what about Origin of Alexandria? Apocryphostasis. Come on, man. Bring that up. Irenaeus.
And he talks about that in his book.
Augustine. Yeah, I mean, all these things that I was thinking of, but
There's just only so much you can do in 2
right.
hours.
I just got off work, and I think it took me a little bit to snap
Get back
into
in the
it,
zone, yeah.
to use my brain again.
But I mean, he's one of the things that's kind of cool about this show is we've come to a new. I mean, we're still getting the same kinds of guests we got before, but we're coming to a new respect level to where now the publishers are emailing us, the publishers are sending us materials without asking a lot of times, saying, hey, have this person on, or would you like to have this person on? And not only that, but we're getting very well-respected people. I mean, this guy was on Good Morning America. He's on ABC
totally.
News.
I mean, it's not like we're crazy people,
Yeah, we're getting, like, next year, for example, we're getting Dr. Cyril Wecht, a very respected guy. We're getting, Dr. Raymond Moody, basically the father of NDE.
Yeah.
Good
I mean,
stuff.
if there was any kind of Christmas present I think WOTU would like to have, we already received it, and that's the support from the listeners.
Yeah.
That's it,
That
in a
and
nutshell.
we want our listeners, you guys out there, to come out to the June conference. That would make our day too. June 9th, 2007, John Zaffis, us, Laura from Full Moon, Terry Bain, Bill Schneblin, the ex-vampire, Dr. Al Prophet. It's going to be a great day, and if you buy the VIP tickets, you can schmooze and have dinner with us after.
Yeah,
It's going to be awesome.
It really is, and but I will point that out again that this WOTU, it couldn't happen if it weren't for the fact that we're getting feedback
Like we are, yeah.
from
And we
you guys,
made
the
some
listeners.
we made some great friends.
Friends.
Yeah, we made some great friends in the business too. I'm going to go through the list real quick. January 1st, we have January 1st. We're actually having a show, guys. It's really weird because this year Christmas fell on a Monday, and so did New Year's Day. But we got somebody to say, "Hey, I'll be there." Now I don't know how many live listeners we'll have. That person is Rich Anders, and he's talking about UFOs, and it's going to be pretty cool. Then we have Matthew DeLuge, January 8th. He was abducted by aliens as a child. This is a lot of bunk. We're going to have to crucify him.
That's an interesting picture he's got there,
yeah,
too.
He's the first guest that's asked me to make his picture non-downloadable.
Really?
And I didn't do that because I told him, man, I'm trying to use this program. I don't know a lot about this sometimes, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. And so he's finally just like, don't worry about it. So I'm like, okay. He's like, life's too short. I'm like, I agree. January 15th, Chris Roller.
Roller.
This is the guy who sued David Copperfield.
And David Blaine.
Sued David Copperfield and David Blaine for stealing his godly powers. I'm not making this up. You can go to his website at mytrumanshow.com.
Yes.
He also says that the Truman Show movie was his life story, and they stole that too.
That is astounding.
Where's the movie or the TV show then?
What do you mean?
The one that's supposedly, lifted from his life.
Oh, no.
It's going
The
on
story
now.
was lifted from his life.
Like it's going on.
Yeah, it's going on now.
now.
So, if anything, this will be interesting.
Yeah, we're just going to leave it at that. I don't know
yeah.
what to expect.
And I booked him just because I thought, I'd heard about the story and I saw the thing where he sued him. I'm like, that's just really, really odd, and I've got to ask him.
Is the suit still pending? Do you know?
No, I think both of them were dismissed.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
I don't know. I wonder why.
Okay, anyway, January 22nd.
Jason Hawes.
Jason Hawes. If you don't know who Jason Hawes is,
You haven't been watching
cut
TV.
on the TV and watch the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah,
That's all.
Taps. And
It's
Ghost
really cool.
Hunters.
It's a nice picture, too. I like that one.
Yeah, Jason is a good friend of mine, and I just met Jason this year, and we've been we've been talking off and on. And that's the thing. When I met Jason and Grant for the first time, I had never seen their show.
Really?
And I told him that. I was
Everybody's
honest.
seen it.
Yeah, I was like, guys, I know this is going to sound stupid, but I know who you guys are just because I talk to other people and I listen to other shows, but I've never seen your show. Molly Stewart's on January 29th. This is a favor to her. She's a good guest, and we never had her back on. I wanted her back on.
Yeah,
she was my
that's true.
very first guest on J. Scott's World, the Unexplained. Very first guest. And she hooked Trent up and Core up really hardcore when
We
they were
saw
on their
our
honeymoon.
museum and the
For free.
development, tours, and it was really cool. And it's very impressive. Unlike I'll just say it right now. Salem is a one-trick pony for the most part, but Molly Stewart is going a totally different route.
She's got a couple tricks. I wanted to say she's got a couple tricks in her because I thought it'd be funny, and it is. She's got a couple tricks in her. No, that sounded bad, but no. So you're saying that's what made the trip delightful?
I thought so. I mean, because Salem was very repetitive and outside the actual historical.
It's just kind of a town.
Yeah, it's a town that had a very interesting past, and all these places are like witch hunts, witch hunts, witch hunts, witch hunts, witch hunts, witch hunts, and it's just like.
Come on,
for
people,
heaven's sakes, how many? I mean, there's the one with the claymation pirate museum, and what the hell do pirates and witches have to have anything? Oh, there was a great pirate attack on Salem, the small town that was, and they're from the Barbary Coast. I mean, come on, Oh, don't go to Salem, but do go to Salem, but just stay out of those places.
Don't go to the pirate place.
Don't go. We did. This is like the.
It sounds a little homosexual.
Yeah, the lady at the front desk is like, you come back and see our shows, like.
And she don't even speak English, is because she's an illegal immigrant.
No, Scott. Anyway, we're like, oh sure, we'll see it. We didn't go back. Oh, it was ridiculous. Save your money. Save your money on the cool things. And Molly Stewart's stuff. I mean, that's one of the cool things,
Well, she's got like an actual vampire
she
killer's kit from the 1800s.
She has a vampire's hunter's kit
from the 1800s.
From the mid-19th century.
Or whenever.
She has a beheading knife from Southwest Africa, with a design.
She just has to go over to where is it at in the Middle East? Iraq or one of those places? You can pick one up.
Scott, Southwest Africa.
Anyway, yeah.
Has nothing to do
I'm
with
kidding.
it.
I just said a beheading knife. I was being
What
true.
are holy wafers made out of?
Holy wafers?
Mm-hmm. Isn't that part of the vampire killing kit?
Let's see.
I don't know what's in there.
I don't know if I'm at liberty to say what's in there because
we'll leave it secret.
We'll leave it for
Molly.
We'll leave it
show.
for Molly to explain it to us. But it was really cool. There was a lot of cool stuff in there. But anyway, Salem's a cool town. Let's go.
Dennis Spalding. I've already talked to him on the phone. He communicates with his dead son through numbers. Yeah, right. Anyway, I talked to him about it. I said we're going to go around, and he's all ready to go around with me. So that should be fun.
It is interesting.
Jerry E. Smith. No
You've
relation.
had him before?
Yeah, no relation. He is he's one of AUP's finest writers, and he's got his new book out on harp, which is what he's known for writing about.
Yeah.
And we had him on with Holy Spear, and we talked a little bit about harp, but this is a new book, and it's going to be it is huge too. It's pretty thick.
Last time we were talking about the Sacred Spear.
Yeah, well, he was talking about he was writing this book then.
Yeah,
and he did.
And here he is, and like I said before a little while ago, he's an author. He has a new book. We can interview him again.
That quote is pretty cool too from Bill Cohen.
Where do you see that?
right here in the middle.
Oh.
Oh, U.S. Secretary of Terrorists are engaging in even an eco type of terrorism where they can alter the climate, set off earthquakes, volcanoes. I can't read the rest of the page from here.
Remotely through the use of electromagnetic waves.
Oh, wow.
Anyway.
Okay. Next up, Bill Schneblin.
Another returning guest.
The ex-vampire.
And that's kind of cool. You know, we're getting return guests now.
That's right.
You know?
June, I'm going to say this one more time, then I'm going to quit pimping it.
Yeah, please.
But June 9th, 2007, in Greensboro, North Carolina, Bill Schneblin, the ex-vampire, John Zaffis, myself, the WOTU crew, Laura from Full Moon, Terry Bain, author of Actual Factual Dracula, John Zaffis, I mentioned him, yeah. Al Prophet. Be there. Or be square.
Oh my gosh, I knew that. Anyway, Bill's coming back.
Yeah, February
19th.
February 26th, TBA. I'll be at the bar exam.
March
the third time.
5th. Pastor Harry.
Yeah. His website's up. I have emailed Pastor Harry requesting a photo and a bio, and I have not got one yet. I'll have to get him again.
Yeah.
But yeah, his site is
something else.
It's different. Yeah, something else. It's different. Just check it out. You'll see.
Yeah.
It's different, man. And we're going to leave that alone until we have him on. Then we're going to railroad him like we do all our other guests. No, I'm kidding. So we're going to leave him alone until March 5th. He wanted to be on the Christmas special. We actually put Daryl Bach in his place. Otherwise, we'd have had Pastor Harry on tonight because of the cancellation of Marcel. Yeah. Because the book's not out yet. But
I'm sure he would have loved to be on tonight, man. So close to Christmas.
Well, that's what we were talking about. He's going to be on the History Channel, the Learning Channel, one of those. I think it's History Channel. He said, "Burning an effigy of Santa Claus again this year." They're rerunning it, so check that out. He gave me the date. I'm gonna have to look it up, but yeah, you might want to check your local listings. I'm sure he's got it all over his website, SatansRapture.com. Just check it out. It's, as Chuck says, it's something else. March 12th, Dr. Raymond Moody, the granddaddy of...
Yeah, also the grand poobah, the near-death experience.
Oh, yes. He's the man. Life After Life. That's a very famous book.
You know, his credentials are
MD, PhD, MA. Yeah, I mean, this
too
guy is
numerous to really mention. I mean, look on the website, look at our guest page.
Yeah.
Read it up. If you don't know who he is, then...
You're been under a rock.
Yeah, he's...
Randy Harrigan, March 19th. Randy is the owner and creator of the UFO store, and we'll talk about that later.
That'll be kind of fun. And this, speaking of psychics...
The only psychic I like, Angela Moore.
The only one that apparently hit close to home with
you. The only one that's ever hit close to home with me, the hillbilly psychic, Angela Moore.
I'm curious, because all these psychics, you know, I mean, like that other one, you know, I didn't get a reading. I didn't get a reading from anyone.
Well, you will get one from Angela. And Angela's going to be right on. And she won't ask you. One. She's just going to be right on.
Hopefully
she's in Talking Tall, the movie that we're in, TalkingTall.com. Check it out.
Yep.
And she's awesome. She hosts a show called The Hillbilly Psychic on WWNC in Asheville, North Carolina, Clear Channel Station. Then
another huge mega name,
April
Cyril
2nd,
Wecht.
Dr. Cyril Wecht, MD JD. He's a friend of one of my former law school professors. That's actually how I
awesome.
got that.
You got him.
Yeah, that's actually how I got that. And so that's going to be cool. I was very proud. We moved him. He was actually scheduled the night I was taking the bar exam the day before, and I was like, man, you know what? With my luck with the bar exam here recently, I really don't want to press that by having a guest and driving to Raleigh from here at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a pre-record, and the pre-record is probably going to be Sean Manchester, Bishop Manchester, I hope. We don't know. I'll have to see. April 16th is the last. Well, we've got two more. We've got one on April 9th. I think the guy's name is, I just booked him, PD Grandine, I believe is his name. Grandine. Yeah, he wrote a book on, we were talking about this ancient civilizations and earth changes. I think. Well, anyway, I don't have that up yet, but we are going to have him. I think it's April 9th is the date. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but he's coming on, and we're still filling up parts of April in different parts. April 16th, the last one we've got listed before
Teresa Bain.
Terry Bain. Yeah, Teresa Bain, Terry Bain, TeresaBain.com. Actual Factual Dracula. I've got a blurb on her book. North Carolinian. Good stuff.
What's that?
It's a North Carolinian. Good stuff.
No.
I have a blurb coming out. It's going to be on her book. I have a blurb, where it says, this book is good, this is my name. That thing. You know what I'm talking about.
I want blurbs. Chuck, why are we getting blurbs?
I don't know,
She emailed me. No, I can see Chuck's blurb right now. It's something else. Chuck Browder, World of the Unexplained. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you, D. The Senator, Chuck Browder.
No.
Wouldn't be Chuck Browder, it'd be the Senator.
Chuck the Senator.
Browder.
Yeah.
World of the Unexplained.
See,
We're,
I mean, come
we're gonna
on,
have to
Chuck.
start calling you the Senator.
Yeah.
And we've got the Senator with us tonight, Chuck Browder.
So anyway, yeah, I want blurbs.
So, okay, sign up for our newsletter. Trent is doing the newsletter.
Yes.
Starting in January 2007.
I don't know when the release date. When we're going.
Are you gonna do it once a month or twice a month?
Yeah,
Or what?
probably. We'll stick with once a month for
Okay.
now, and then if there's
How big is it gonna be?
That's a good question. I mean, I really
You're
don't
taking
know
this whole project
I know.
on.
I really have
happy
no
about it.
idea what I'm doing. So I mean,
Well, that's okay. We didn't either when we started. So,
I agree, and-
so the first year of newsletters is going to suck, and then
right. I'm going to have
the
pictures
first 3
of
months are going to suck, and then after
Stickmen
that,
and,
yeah. After that,
something
they're cool.
primitive. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Sign up for that though. On the very front page of our website, there's only 3 questions that I ask you. I believe. Do you like our new slogan? Do you like the new way we're going?
what's the capital H? That's here.
No, it doesn't ask that. And then it asks for your email
money
address.
compound.
Now, remember, when you sign up for this, it's going to send you an email, and you're going to have to click on the link inside the email to make sure you register, to make sure people aren't giving us false names and, the people that hate us, So,
Secretly trying to
yeah,
undermine
I'm sure they're
our
out
abilities.
there. I'm sure they're out there.
There's probably.
Brad Miller doesn't like me. I didn't vote for him. But as a matter of fact, I didn't vote this time.
You didn't.
And, and
You're a dirty communist.
usually I've never missed an election. The reason I didn't vote this time is when I was living in Florida, I had changed my registration,
So now you had to rechange it back.
and I didn't do it in time. I'd forgotten about it. And I didn't. I thought it would. Yeah.
Well, the details, the devil's in the details, they say.
I missed the date for doing it. And you know what? What made me really mad is I missed the date, and I could have voted. I found out later that I could have voted for Vernon Robinson in this district, and that made me mad.
Wow.
Did you
Should've
vote for Vernon?
Yeah, I did.
I knew it. Trent, did you vote this time?
Yeah, I voted.
You did? I guess what district?
I'm in a different district, I think.
Are you still registered in Davidson?
No, so I couldn't vote for him. He won on the ticket.
Oh, okay.
And I wouldn't vote for him because I think he's a fascist and an idiot.
Well,
But,
who did you vote for?
Gosh, what do you mean? I mean, there were a lot of people there.
For Congress, who'd you vote
Oh shoot.
for? You probably only had 2 choices.
Yeah, you're right.
Republicrat or Demon Cat.
Well, you live in Forsyth County,
No,
don't you?
I live in Davie.
He lives in Davie County.
And maybe Virginia Fox.
I didn't. I didn't vote for her. I don't like her.
So you voted for the liberal.
I don't know.
She's pretty middle of the road though for a Republican.
Yeah, that's
too.
what I'm saying. He
Yeah,
voted for the
you know what?
liberal.
And I have to say,
She's a
I
Republican.
sort of recant the fact that I didn't vote for her because she's done some things here recently.
No, she was running against Vernon before, but go ahead.
For the
Yeah,
primary.
she's done some things here recently that I sort of like. Oh, okay. Well, maybe I was wrong about her. Cora can't stand her, but that's neither here nor there.
It's because Cora wants to vote for Vernon. No,
Well, to set the record straight here on my vote in the last election,
oh, okay. Here we go.
I would have never voted for Vernon Robinson had it not been that Brad Miller himself gerrymandered the district he now occupies, and that they gerrymandered it out of Howard Coble's hands, who's a Guilford College graduate. And that's a whole nother ball of wax.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah.
Now, if we run where we might run, then we'll start on that. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We'll keep it under the DL. But if we do get on a certain station locally that we can talk about that to a more local audience, then I'm going to bring that up because that really pissed me off.
Oh yeah.
And it did you too, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I don't know, without getting into specifics, but yeah, I mean, the guy that was over there at Guilford who was instrumental in getting Coble ousted as the keynote speaker was one of the guys who spoke and was received with a standing ovation.
And I didn't clap.
I didn't know about this until after the ceremony.
You took
anyway,
your
so.
stand, Scott. You
That's
didn't
right.
clap.
That's right.
In a sea full of
Like
loud
Matt
clapping.
Matan, like Matt Matan says, I will always take a stand. Take a stand with Matt Matan. Good show. That's on WWNC as well. And he's in the movie Talking Tall, featured with us. Unfortunately, Chuck was not part of the program when we did the film. Otherwise, Chuck would be in it. So you can only see his beautiful picture on the website.
Yeah.
And I still haven't put up your bio, but I've got it, and I'm going to put that up this week.
Right on.
The Irish Jesus.
The Irish Jesus Chuck.
My ass
Chuck
was
the
in-
Senator Browder.
My ass sat in television history.
That's right. I'm going to probably edit that, but just a little bit, and say your bottom. But
My bottom.
What about your bottom?
His bottom. He actually sat in the captain's chair, the Star Trek captain's chair. He actually sat in the same one that Will Shatner did. I know I started some now. And that's in his bio. That's in his bio. Well, guys,
that's it. I mean, we've gone way over anyway.
No,
so
we had not really. Not after
Really?
I clip and chop and
Oh, that's true.
break it out and chop it up. Or what do you say? How do you say?
Take it out and chop it up, man.
That's right. After I take it out and chop it up, it's not going to be that. Okay, well,
awkward, unpleasant,
yeah.
poor ending. You know, we're great about starting things. You know,
We're hard at ending.
but we are bad, real bad about endings. You better watch out for the book, Scott. You know, because I have a feeling that might be a problem.
I just
You know,
can't stop,
Your
yeah.
your conclusion, how to like draw it up. You know,
I
okay,
know, I know, it's
I
gonna
got
be
the
tough.
fish. I cast my net. Ooh, I got a lot of fish.
How do I end it
There's
now?
a hole in the net. You know.
That's it.
I don't know what these crazy analogies come from, but they just fly out. Maybe because it's so late.
We'll talk a little bit more, but not long. And I
Okay.
just wanted to talk about the new approach, the conservative paranormal talk approach, the us bullying the guest approach. Actually,
Okay.
it's more me bullying the guest.
Yeah.
You help sometime. You're going to really have to jump in and pick on them more. It's fun. We warn all these people ahead of time. They know what they're getting into.
Mm-hmm.
And the Wiccans still listen to us. The pagans still listen to us. I'm sure some of the Islamic fundamentalists still listen to us. And that's good.
You think so?
I think.
I
that,
mean, you think that not?
I think even people that hate us listen to us because they just wonder
Well,
what's going to come
yeah.
out of my mouth next.
You know,
And that's good.
Any press is good press.
That's right. Any press is good press.
yeah, that's basically how
You
I
know,
feel
the
about
scary thought is that there are probably people in foreign countries learning how to speak English to this.
it. You know, it's like
Islamo-fascist.
Vernon Robinson.
For Congress.
Robinson for Congress.
Well, you know, we used to have a lot of like an influx when we were with Omnisound. We had an influx of Chinese.
Yeah, it was weird.
Chinese
they would
people
show
from China
up.
that would show up and try to speak English.
I learned to speak English,
and they would listen
for-
to our show.
Yeah,
So they had no idea what we were talking
yeah.
about. But
It's kind of weird.
But the new conservative angle is because my eyes have been open. I used to be a liberal. Listen to the earlier shows, you'll find out I was an ACLU card-carrying liberal, and then
You stop paying your dues.
That's right. I stopped paying my dues.
And that's what happens.
When you stop paying your dues when you're an ACLU card-carrying liberal. And my eyes are open. I do still support a lot of liberal, not a lot of liberal philosophy. I'll say some of it. I do still support. I do support John Edwards. I think he's a
Do
good
you
candidate.
still consider yourself a Democrat?
No. I consider myself neither Democrat nor Republican. I would have to say that I'm going to register when I re-register as an independent.
Yeah, that's basically.
I think
right.
both the Republicans and the Democrats have some serious character flaws, some serious issues that we really need a third party, a good third party to take.
I
the
personally
slack.
feel that once the political wheels are in place, they become entrenched to the point at which they cannot be ousted by any means. That even people that are trying to buck the system, so to speak, they either do harm to one and do advantage to another. And I really, really think that the whole notion of political parties that we have is flawed in so many
the founding
ways.
fathers didn't want it. Anyway.
No, absolutely not.
But
And,
we're not going to get into this because
no.
Chuck's going to speak for half an hour if we do.
No, the senator is going to make us.
Excuse me.
The senator is
going
taking
to-
the floor.
The senator is going to what do they call it? What is it?
Filibuster?
Filibuster. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, the senator's going to filibuster on us. So
Anyway, but you're talking about conservative.
yeah, but
Paranormal
conservative paranormal talk. We're the only one that does it. All these other people that host these shows, if you listen to them, pretty much all of them. I don't know of one that doesn't, but they're all frou-frou, open to every idea that comes along, and and a lot of it's just BS, and we know that. And we may not be politically correct, but we're biblically correct. You like that as a new catchphrase? I like it. But anyway, and it's I think it's important for people to know the truth, and we're giving them the truth whether they like it or not. So, and yeah, that's my version of the truth, and if they don't like it, well, they don't have to listen. Nice little pause of dead air.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing, and I think America's become a place where political correctness has taken its toll, and it's time that somebody just stood up and shouted out against it and yelled and beat on things, and that's what we're here to do, to beat on things. And
Rattle sabers.
exactly, wake people up and say, hey,
Sound the cavalry.
you remember when it wasn't like this. You remember when you called a short person, when midget jokes were funny. You remember these things, and now everybody's so afraid of offending someone. That it's just gotten to the point of stupidity.
Yeah, it is, and it comes down to just idle, endless, pointless bureaucracy. It does. I mean,
It does.
and it bogs everything down. Where if you sort of directly get to whatever it is that you're trying to say, you don't have to waste so much time.
You just say it. Say what you feel, brother.
And
that's a great segue for Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And we say Merry Christmas here. We don't say Happy Holidays.
Mm-hmm. Merry Christmas.
And remember, and that's why I put it on the website. I've got this big picture of the nativity scene. And I think let me quote this for you guys because it's great. And I did this on purpose because, like I said, we don't care about political correct. And I did this on purpose. No guest this week, just a pre-recorded or a best of WOTU. Obviously, if you're listening now, then you're listening to this. We extend a big Merry Christmas from our family to yours. That's right, our family, the WOTU clan, the Wu-Tang WOTU. No, as we celebrate.
Which one's going to be ODB?
Yeah,
I guess that'd be you. Oh, okay, D. All right.
As we celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, here's looking to a wonderful 2007. This is Jay Scott, your only JDDJ on the Planet Paranormal Network, saying Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And this is Trent Lackey. We're coming to you from Kernersville, North Carolina, where it's still a small town, but honestly, tonight we really weren't talking about big things. We just made it this far. Thanks for listening. Merry Christmas.
Chuck, give the honors.
Merry Christmas!
God. We out.